Well, Leeds Norwich coming up later here at Elland Road, closing stages of Fulham Southampton. Goals at the moment on Talksport 2. But let's take you to Vale Park. It's a big pitch, it's a muddy pitch, it's a proper cup pitch at Port Vale. And Sunderland are used to playing on perfection every week. So that could be a problem for the Premier League side. It's usually players or VAR that decide games. Today the man of the match could end up being that surface. It's no carpet, it could be a leveller. Port Vale against Sunderland, FA Cup 5th round, live on Talksport with Andy Townsend and Joe Shannon.
Thank you, Adrian, and welcome to the home of FA Cup fever in Staffordshire. Vale Park, once billed as the Wembley of the North. Who would have thought this season that the team bottom of the third tier would be 2 games away from Wembley itself? It feels like Port Vale have got everything to gain and nothing to lose after the 4th round win over Bristol City in midweek. These are the kinds of occasions this 76-year-old ground was built for. And Sunderland arrive here needing to negotiate this tricky tie on an undoubtedly poor surface. It is a vast and muddy expanse, far removed from the carpet-like pitches of the Premier League. Beware FA Cup complacency, Sunderland. Are we in for a shock today? Great noise from Port Vale and Sunderland supporters alike. Andy Townsend, can you make a case for a shock here, Andy?
Look, ordinarily I would say no, Joe, but this is the FA Cup. This is the land of shocks. This is the trophy that historically always gives us something. And I just think today the Port Vale boys would love to just start the game well, get a bit of initiative, get a few corners, get a few free kicks, start putting it in that Sunderland box, and just getting everybody excited in the stadium. If they do that, then they'll have to see where that takes them.
We're sitting here on the Lawn Street side of Vale Park, halfway inside the half to the right, about 10-15 rows from the edge of the pitch. Port Vale will get the cup tie underway from left to right in the first half towards the by-car stand that houses 3,000 supporters who've made the trip from Sunderland. Port Vale in the off-white shirts, black shorts and black and white hoop socks, and Sunderland in their change kit today, playing from right to left. Blue shirts, white shorts and blue socks. The game is underway. Port Vale go backwards and it's hammered high upfield by Cam Humphreys. Too long for Dejon Brown, and the ball will bobble, and I mean bobble, out of play on this muddy surface for a goal kick to Sunderland.
Yeah, the surface, you can tell, is going to be a little lively with all the rain we've had, Joe, and now it's kind of been a bit drier over the last few days. Well, the surface has got that bobbly, crumbly sort of feel on the top. So again, your first touch has got to be a good one. You've got to make sure you don't get caught on the edge of your own box in possession.
Cloudy skies overhead, the floodlights are already on. Giant Connor Hall at the back thunders the ball forward for Port Vale. I remind you of the two teams in full in just a moment. Port Vale have it with Funso Ojo. Orange boots on, hammers it up the inside left channel, chasing is Brown, and he gets there first in front of Alderete and wins Port Vale the first corner inside the opening minutes.
Perfect start, that. Right from the get-go, Port Vale, every time someone's had the ball, knock it forward, get it forward, turn Sunderland round. Now they have a chance to put something in that box. Everybody piling in there already.
Ethan Archer, the number 11, will take the corner. Everybody back in blue and white for Sunderland. A lot of height in the Port Vale lineup. Corner whipped in by Archer towards Ben Waine, and the deflection on the effort, I think by Hall, sees it squirm through into the gloves of Melker Elborg, the Sunderland goalkeeper. 0-0.
Yeah, decent ball into the box actually. Ben Waine did meet it on the half volley with his left foot, but I think the blue shirt just took all the sting out of the shot, and it sailed pretty harmlessly into the goalkeeper's hands.
So Joe Gauci, the Aston Villa loanee, is in goal for Port Vale. John Humphreys and Hall. Then Gabriel, Walters, Ojo and Gordon. Wayne, the Newcastle fan, and Archer in support of Brown up front. Andre Gray, former FA Cup finalist, is on the bench for Port Vale today as Jordan Gabriel, the number 6, heads the ball clear from the right back position. The pitch particularly bobbly on this near side of the field. It's very muddy, very much cut up. It's an FA Cup throwback here today. Ballard thumps the ball downfield for Sunderland, header away by Kyle John. And Port Vale, whose form has improved despite being bottom of League One of late, are certainly trying to take the game to Sunderland in the early stages, and the goalkeeper nearly caught in possession. Then is that a foul on 09? It is a foul on Lefay, Coming in behind him was Reece Walters. Sunderland get a free kick, but they cannot afford to take any chances at the back, Andy.
What they did there, that was Dan Ballard actually, who knocked the ball back to the goalkeeper. Only a 25-yard ball, but the goalie, rather than hitting it first time, wanted to take a touch to settle it down. As soon as he did that, Brown was really close to pinching it off him.
Still 0-0 at Craven Cottage over on Talksport 2. Sunderland attack with Mayenda, trying to reach a loose ball into the penalty area. Turned behind by Humphreys, and now Sunderland have a corner. They have Elborg in goal. Chowder, Ballard, Alderete and 09. Diarra and Rigg. Talby, Lefay and Angulo behind Mayenda up front. Among the youthful Sunderland bench, the experience of captain Granit Xhaka. Regis Lebris watching down on the near side of the field from his position in the technical area. John Brady, the Port Vale boss, just to his right. Sunderland corner whipped in by Lefay, punched away, Mayenda heads it down and it's off the line. Well, that was point blank range. What a clearance on the line by Kyle John of Port Vale.
Yeah, the goalkeeper there, Joe Gauci, put his fists on it, but all he did was he kind of just punched it just straight up in the air from where he was. Mayenda inside the 6-yard box on his head. He makes good contact, but they'd somehow managed to scramble it clear.
That goal mouth is full of mud. Difficult surface for both goalkeepers it'll be today. Gauci all in green, though, struggling to deal with the aerial ball. Port Vale 0, Sunderland 0. 4 minutes into the cup tie, a lively start at either end. Great atmosphere here too at Vale Park, which is mostly full, though certainly by no means a sellout crowd here today. Mayenda denied on the goal line. Now the referee's just got something to sort out in the penalty area. Enzo Lefay still waiting to take the corner for Sunderland, and he's spelling out the rules in the 18-yard box. No holding signalled the referee, who is Anthony Taylor, very experienced of course. This is Talksport, in by Lefay from the corner, all the way to the back post. It'll reach Luke 09, and he hangs up a high cross. All down goes Ballard, nothing given by the referee, and Gabriel gets there in front of Lefay to scramble it clear for Port Vale. Up to Archer on the halfway line. Archer with a little shimmy to win a throw in front of Enzo Lefay. Isn't it brilliant, Andy Townsend, how the FA Cup can really summon up an improvement in performance from a team like Port Vale, bottom of League One, but they look inspired already today.
No, they do. They're really up for it. You know, it was only, as we mentioned a few days ago, that they were fighting for the right to be here today. But here they are, and certainly they started the game nicely.
We'll go to Ibrox in just a moment in the Scottish Cup. There's been a goal there. Port Vale coming forward with Ben Waine down the right. He's fouled Luke 09. Much to the fury of the Port Vale supporters in front of us. Sunderland free kick. News of that goal in Scotland comes from David Tanner.
And it's Rangers 0, Celtic 1. It's been all Rangers until the last 5 minutes, and Dyson Maeda has just scored from just about the back post. It's his 9th goal of the season. There is a VAR check for a possible offside, but as it stands, it's Celtic who draw first blood in the Old Firm game. Rangers 0, Celtic 1.
And that in the quarter-finals of the Scottish Cup. This, of course, all about a place in the quarter-finals of the FA Cup today for either Port Vale or Sunderland. And we've seen some absolutely brilliant ties over the course of the 5th round to date, and they continue later on at Leeds against Norwich live on Talksport. That's followed by the final word with Majestic and Adam Pardew. You can have your say on the weekend's football by calling 03717 223344. The draw for the quarter-finals is tomorrow, and of course tomorrow night we'll also bring you West Ham against Brentford in the final tie. Luke 09 smashes the ball downfield with aplomb, and it bounces out of play for a goal kick to Port Vale. 0-0 here. What news at Craven Cottage? Talksport, Sam Ellar.
Still Fulham 0, Southampton 0. Both sides though have had big chances. Azaz had a shot from close range, deflected onto the bar. Tom Fellows had a one-on-one save for the home side. Cassania had a goal disallowed with Anderson offside in the build-up. Muniz has missed 2 good chances in close range, and Castagna had a left-footed effort from inside the box just wide. Both sides pushing for the winner. Fulham 0, Southampton 0.
Headed downfield by Chris Rigg for Sunderland. It's still 0-0 here. Up goes Angulo with a header down into the Port Vale penalty area. Good work by Hall to shepherd it back to his goalkeeper. Gauci with a steady clearance upfield more than anything. It's quite a battle already in the middle of midfield. Sunderland get the ball back only temporarily. Ojo nearly closes it down. Head Trout on the right back on the far side of the field. Wins Sunderland a throw. Is that goal disallowed at Ibrox? David Tannant.
It's Rangers 0, Celtic 0, goal disallowed. Dyson Maida was offside. It took a long VAR check, but the goal is off, and it's goalless in the Old Firm game.
The drama at Ibrox, so still 0-0. That was a 1 o'clock kickoff. We're 8 minutes into the game here at Vale Park. What have you made of the first 8 minutes, Andy?
Well, I think certainly Port Vale have done everything right, served it forward, really competitive, making sure every time the ball goes to a blue shirt, Sunderland are playing in today, someone's there to close it down very quickly.
Luke O'Nien crossing from the left. The ball has hit Gabriel and got out of play for a Sunderland throw.
One other thing, Joe, I just saw Connor Hall, when he passed that ball back to his goalkeeper, Joe Gauci, he knocked it wide of the goal for him. I think that's quite a sensible thing to do for any centre-half going back to the goalie today. Knock it into the areas where there's a little bit more grass and the bounce may be a little more predictable.
It is certainly not rolling true on this pudding of a pitch in places at Vale Park. Long throw into the penalty area by Luke O'Nien for Sunderland, headed away by Connor Hall of Port Vale. The ball has bounced down to the dead ball line. O'Nien digs it in, only half away, hit by Rigg, blocked by his own teammate, I think, there. Ballard got in the way of Rigg's shot.
Yeah, did. There was a couple of half-hearted clearances actually there from Port Vale. If they are clearing their lines, they've got to make sure, get a bit of height on it as well as distance. That buys you just that vital few seconds to get out of your 6-yard area.
They won't be used to this at all, the Premier League side. Certainly many of the new signings who have been so successful at Sunderland will be a little alien to this kind of environment. It's a very wide pitch as well, one of the biggest pitches in the whole of the Football League, graced by Andy Townsend. Was it an 89, Andy, when you scored that incredible lob over the goalkeeper for Norwich?
A long time ago, Joe, I think is the answer to that.
I've seen the footage today. What a finish it was. If we get a goal like that at some point, we'll be very happy. 10 minutes gone and Port Vale battling well. The pitch is certainly, not a complete leveller necessarily, but something of a leveller certainly so far.
Yes, I think it's in areas. If you're going to take 2 and 3 touches, then you're going to be closed down very quickly. I think the size of the pitch is the key here. Certainly for Port Vale, I think if they go behind to a Premier League team on a pitch like this, where there's a lot of room, obviously we're not seeing it yet in the early stages, but as this game develops, there will be just that little bit more time for you out in the park, because people won't be able to get quite so tight. So I think that will be a key factor, and certainly for the home team, all the time it's level, they'll be delighted with that.
Port Vale scoop the ball long. Jordan Gabriel, header away by Dan Ballard, right in front of our commentary position, which is in line with the edge of the Sunderland penalty area. Up goes Alderete with Dejon Brown. Brown having his shirt tugged, but Sunderland smuggle it clear. Nilson Angulo reeled away from the challenge of Hall. Great feat to dart into Port Vale territory. Early ball towards Mayenda, beyond Liam Gordon, who got a touch on it at the expense of another Sunderland corner away to the right. Needless to say, Sunderland have sold out their away allocation this afternoon, 3,100, and they're always well backed on the road, aren't they?
They certainly are. They were at Oxford when I saw them a few weeks ago, and again today, brilliant support as ever.
Corner for Sunderland, away on the far side there, right as we look at it. Looks like Chris Rigg has placed the ball down at the Hamel Road stand, which is packed with home supporters. The Port Vale home end, whipped in high, left-footed, well claimed by Gauci. Tall goalkeeper, but he really had to stretch there, use this 6'4" frame, the Australian, and he plucks it out of the air.
Yeah, good hands, good safe hands that time from Joe Gauci. Just looking at Connor Hall, the giant centre-half for Port Vale, picking up Dan Ballard. That is a real battle of the giants, that is, from any of these corners and set plays. Dan Ballard there, he was doing everything he can to get rid of Connor Hall, who was marking him very tightly.
That's the battle of the two number 5s as 09, the Sunderland captain today, scrambles the ball away, given away though sloppily by Lefay. Charging down the right is Wayne, getting the boos from the Sunderland supporters. He's a Newcastle fan. Sunderland fans happy with the challenge. Diarra and 09 in blue. They're across in front of Wayne to win it back. He could hardly have asked for a better cup tie than this one.
Yeah, well, he'll be desperate to produce something, won't he, today? He really will.
Just imagine the celebration if he scores. 12 and a half gone. Long goes Sunderland, hooked away by Humphreys, retreating back towards his own penalty area. Then Lefay has it in the middle of midfield. Out to the left-hand side, and Rigg, who's still only 18. It feels like he's been around forever. Made his senior debut for Sunderland at the age of 15 in this competition 3 years ago now. Sunderland's youngest ever outfield player. Alderete with a bobbly pass out to the left. Talby can't get beyond Gabriel, who gets it away for Port Vale. Then a 50-50 well won by 09. Tigerish as ever, Luke 09. He was excellent in Sunderland's win at Leeds United in the Premier League in midweek. At the same time, Port Vale were beating Bristol City in round 4. Given away to Dejan Brown inside the centre circle, trying to dart right down the middle, blocked off by Alderete. It is quite a scrappy game,
yeah, it is.
Understandably at the moment.
Yeah, a few stray passes, as you can imagine. Dejan Brown there just latching onto a stray square ball from Angulo that didn't have anybody on the end of it, but unfortunately didn't make a quick enough decision and very quickly closed down, and Sunderland have the ball back.
0-0. This is FA Cup game day on Talksport with McDonald's. Order delivery on the McDonald's app from 11 a.m, 18 plus. Fees apply to delivery orders, subject to availability. Price may vary. Cheltenham Festival underway on Tuesday, and Talksport breakfast live from Cheltenham all of next week, including for each day of the festival. And we'll have commentaries of all the big races, including the Gold Cup on Friday, as you'd expect. Always quite a week on Talksport.
Certainly is. I'm going to join Big Al and Ray tomorrow for a couple of hours at John Joe O'Neill's yard. Looking forward to that.
And then from Tuesday we'll be on the race course itself. Gabriel gets up athletically down the right for Port Vale, and he beats 09 to the ball. Heavy touch down the near side, the right. Alderete able to get across, sliding in here. Sunderland know they're in a fight. They know they're in a battle. No question about it from the first 15 minutes.
Really good work from Jordan Gabriel down that right side for Port Vale. He just overrun it a little bit. Alderete did well to read it and intercepted nicely, but again, I just think the mindset, the attitude, that is certainly spot on so far from Port Vale. Really good.
Port Vale, who reached the semi-finals in 1953, 1954. That was also the last season they reached the quarters, so it's been 72 years. Multiple generations of Port Vale supporters have potentially never seen their team perhaps reach the heights that they may do today. Long ball thundered downfield by Connor Hall. It's going to drop midway inside the Sunderland half, headed away by Ballard. The loose ball retrieved by Enzo Lefay. Forward pass intercepted on the stretch by Ojo. We haven't seen too many short forward passes in the game. The pitch isn't really allowing for it. It's a classic FA Cup feel to this game.
I just think a couple of times we've seen Port Vale knock it really long. Just those midfield players, the central midfield players. I think Reece Walters, one of them. You've got to recognise when it's going to be served long and get up that field 20 odd yards further, because Dan Ballard is winning most of those headers that are coming towards him. Most of those long balls he's winning, and he's nodding them back down in and around the centre circle. So far it's a blue shirt, a Sunderland shirt, that's picking them up. If they can, Port Vale have got to recognise when it's going long, they've got to get up towards their striker.
Regis Lebris has got his black and red Sunderland jacket on, arms folded on the near side touchline. To our left as we look at it, John Brady out to encourage his Port Vale players. Ballard for Sunderland, the big Northern Irishman, just shy of the halfway line. Out to Herr Trauder, who used to play for Arne Slot in their time together at Feyenoord, very successful time together. And now Diarra, who scored the penalty winner at Leeds in midweek. He's the kind of player that Sunderland will want to get on the ball as much as they can. Hoisted high downfield by Alderete, too long for Talby, and gathered by Gauci, the goalkeeper.
Yeah, just a little bit overhit there from Alderete. Decent run, actually, this time from Talby, but always going to be struggling to get that.
Ball has been thumped upfield by Gauci, and a clever back header by O'Nien to the orange-clad goalkeeper Melker Elborg. Half-time at Ibrox in the Scottish Cup. David Tan.
And it's Rangers 0, Celtic 0. Dyson Maida had the ball in the back of the net 10 minutes ago with a header, but Liam Scales was spotted by VAR to have been in an offside position when he flicked on a Luke McCowan cross. What an atmosphere with 8,000 Celtic fans in. It's Rangers 0, Celtic 0.
Still goalless at Craven Cottage, live right now over on Talksport 2. If you want to listen to that, you can download our free app and then swipe between both stations as and when you need to. Looks like they might be heading for extra time at Fulham against Southampton in the FA Cup 5th round. Sunderland have a throw on the far side, halfway line. Trowder with the black boots on will take it. Long throw downfield towards Mayenda. He chests it back towards Rigg, but Port Vale winning a lot of the second balls at the moment. Kyle John back to his goalkeeper Gauci, who very cautiously stabs the ball forward with his right foot. Anywhere will do sort of clearance from Gauci. And then there's a foul by Wayne on Talby, caught him from behind, and Sunderland have a free kick.
Yeah, the referee on this occasion, Anthony Taylor, deciding that Wayne was just a little too heavy-handed with that pressure. So it is a free kick. Lafay is on it. And he's about 15-20 yards from the halfway line, slightly on the angle, but he's going to plant it all the way into the box. Port Vale holding a line probably 5 or 6 yards outside of the 18-yard box as we speak.
Plenty forward in the blue and white of Sunderland today, including Ballard and Alderete. Enzo Lafay looks for Alderete, but the referee has spotted some kind of foul, and Port Vale get a free kick. I mean, no question, 19 minutes in, that John Brady of Port Vale will be the happier manager. 0-0, penalty at Craven Cottage, Sam Ellard.
Fulham 0, Southampton 0. 6 minutes of time added on. It is a penalty for the away side. Finizaz won it. Ross Stewart has the ball on the spot. Lecomte in the Fulham goal. The whistle goes. Can Ross Stewart score in the 91st minute? He steps up and scores! Goalkeeper goes the right way, but the Southampton number 11 beats him. Ross Stewart scores. 91 minutes gone. Fulham 0, Southampton 1.
Well, what a story that is.
Amazing story that really is. There you go. You stay in a game, you do whatever you've got to do, and that's what the FA Cup can serve up. A last gasp penalty.
Southampton of the Championship in front, the closing stages alive right now over on Talksport 2. Just download our free app if you want to swipe between both stations. John nearly turning into trouble here for Port Vale. 0-0 against Sunderland. Port Vale in the black and white, playing from left to right in the first half, and John has carried it out of play. The former Everton youngster was the young player of the year at Port Vale last season, and back in the team from the off today. Sunderland recycle possession. They go back to Ballard, 10 yards shy of the halfway line. Leeds against Norwich in the FA Cup at 4:30 here, live and in full on Talksport. But it looks like perhaps the big shock of the round so far will be at Craven Cottage, as you were hearing from Sam, with Southampton in front at Fulham on Talksport 2 right now.
Yeah. That game for Leeds is a tough one against Norwich because they're really flying at the minute. They've picked up massively. That's not a gimme, not at all.
Philippe Clement has done a superb job, and John Brady's Port Vale have done an excellent job so far. John Brady, former Northampton Town manager, replaced Darren Moore partway through this season. Vale still look destined for relegation. They're 10 points from safety. They go long up towards Brown, kept himself onside just about. Yeah. Right on the shoulder of the last defender there, Dejon Brown.
He was indeed, but again, he's lacking a little bit of support at the moment.
Bit isolated perhaps. Gabriel there to shepherd it back to goalkeeper Gauci. 0-0. Gauci thunders the ball high downfield up towards Brown again. Well, he's up against Ballard and Alderete. That long ball has gone straight beyond him, Andy Townsend, and all the way through to the goalkeeper.
It is. It's difficult. All he can do is battle away, Dejon Brown. And he's done that well so far. Anything that's up around his chest or his head is up against it, against Alderete and Dan Ballard. But look, we're how far into the game now? We're 20
22 minutes
22 minutes in, and so far Joe Gauchiaro had nothing in open play really to handle yet.
Good interception by Reece Walters in the middle of midfield, but he's knocked the ball straight out of play. 20-year-old Reece Walters, who made his senior debut for Port Vale at the age of just 16. Very much a regular part of the first team picture. Midway through the first half, Port Vale, bottom of League One, goalless here with Premier League Sunderland, who have now reached that magic 40 points mark, and Regis Lebris has made it clear they can focus on the FA Cup at this stage. Sunderland winners in 1937 and 1973. The Jimmy Montgomery double save, the highlight of that final, I always think.
And that was my old manager Ian Porterfield, God rest him, who scored that amazing goal for Sunderland that day in the final. Certainly did.
For Bob Stokoe's Sunderland, as it was in 73. Good work by Wayne, tenaciously winning it back on the halfway line. The muddiest part of the pitch is right in front of the two dugouts. Port Vale come away with possession. Ojo nudges it across to Hall. Hall has got support out on the far side of the left from Liam Gordon. Gordon plays it back to the midfield man Ojo again, and he races forward towards the edge of the D. Ojo spinning and turning out to the left, and Gordon, and now Archer joining the attack. Archer thought about a reverse ball. It has to go into the area, surely. Archer delivers right-footed, thumped away by Alderete.
Just got a few too many behind the ball here, Port Vale. Look, they've got 4 or 5 still back behind the ball. When they're getting it wide, don't need 4 on the halfway line, guys. 2 of you have got to step in, get up there and push those midfield players into the box.
High ball up towards Brown, who wins the flick on against Alderete, the Paraguayan, but it's all the way through to goalkeeper Elborg. Wimbledon 1, Northampton 0 is a full-time score in League One. They're into the final minute at Craven Cottage on Talksport 2. Right now it's Southampton who are in front by a goal to 0. So the Premier League team poised to be knocked out by Championship opposition. Here comes Sunderland, rigged down the inside left. Mayenda in the middle waiting for the cross. Mayenda at the back post. It was miskicked by Hall, kept in play by Mayenda. Now Angulo, right corner of the penalty area. Back to Lutcherel Hertrauder. Hertrauder setting up Mayenda on the right edge of the box. He's nudged it infield, intercepted by Walters, and Port Vale should get it away. Archer high upfield. There's nobody there in a white shirt, and Sunderland can have the ball back.
Yeah. And again, I think there, Dejon Brown, as soon as he sees midfield players looking at him, he's got to turn and, I think, head as far in the opposite direction as quickly as he can. He's filtering towards the ball. It's not that sort of surface. Whoa!
Oh, and Luco 9 with a heavy back pass, headed over his own crossbar by the goalkeeper. That's incredible! Luco 9 with a floated back pass that was going to end up in the back of the net. Remarkable agility from Elborg. Knew he couldn't use his hands. He's headed it over the top of the crossbar.
Incredible.
That is one of the best saves you will see this season.
Astonishing. Luco 9 not under any real pressure. He's just wants to knock it back to his goalie. He's got underneath it, and it's sailing into the net. The goalkeeper backpedaling at a huge rate of knots manages to head it away. Incredible stuff.
Well, he was backpedaling. It looked like the ball was going to loop into the net, and he flung himself up into the sky there, Elborg.
Yeah, I thought he was
Superman-like.
I thought he was going to have to catch it, Joe, and concede the free kick. I thought he'd have to, but got his head on it.
Corner driven in by Ethan Archer up towards Wayne, headed away by Ballard. Port Vale 0, Sunderland 0. The League One team are on the attack. Gabriel looking to nudge it wide to Archer again. Archer nearly stumbles on the surface, the bobbly surface. He's worked his way into the area, but he's blocked off by Rigg. That'll trickle towards the dead ball line and out of play for another Port Vale corner. I tell you what, Port Vale are on top at the moment.
They're doing very well. They really are. They're contesting and scrapping and fighting for everything. And it's not easy. It's not comfortable at the moment for the Sunderland boys. Another corner here.
Plenty of white shirts in the middle, including all 3 centre-halves, plus Brown and Wayne. In by Archer, right-footed, poor to the near post, but Lefay, ball bounced up right in front of him, can only slice it behind for a third Port Vale corner in quick succession. 0-0 Andy Townsend.
Yeah, Ethan Archer there. Poor delivery, but Enzo Lefay, the ball bounced just before him on the corner of the 6-yard box. and he shanks that one out for another corner.
Liam Gordon will take this one, short to Archer. Archer, right corner of the penalty area, delivers, left-footed Wayne, tries to turn it in, up goes Brown, Wayne has scored! He's done it again in the FA Cup! The Newcastle fan has scored against Sunderland! What a moment! This truly is FA Cup magic! It's Port Vale, bottom of League One, leading Sunderland by a goal to nil!
Brilliant stuff. They have worked so hard right from the get-go. They've done everything right. Again, it forward. They're just applying pressure, looking for those corners, looking for those free kicks, trying to put it in the box when they can. This time, they play a short corner. The ball goes into the box. They keep it alive in there. And the ball falls for Ben Wayne. Gets his head on it. Loops it up over the top of Elborg, who's just performed heroics in keeping it out about 2 minutes ago. This time he can do nothing but just watch it sail over his head into the far corner. What a start for Port Vale.
It just had to be in the FA Cup. The Newcastle fan has scored against Sunderland. And the match winner on Tuesday night, is he going to be the match winner today? There's a long way still to go, but Port Vale are in front by a goal to nil. Have we got a shock at Craven Cottage, Sam Ellard?
It's over. Fulham 0, Southampton 1, a 91st minute penalty from Ross Stewart sends the Championship side through. As Azad won it, Stewart stepped up and beat Lecomte, who went the right way. Full time at the Cottage. It's Fulham 0, Southampton 1.
And Port Vale have got a lead to hang on to here. Well, we saw Mansfield really push Arsenal yesterday. Wrexham taking the lead twice against Chelsea in the FA Cup. Neither managed to ultimately get the job done. How about Port Vale against Sunderland here on a surface that, to me, Andy, Sunderland have really struggled to adapt to so far?
Yeah, I don't think they've really got up to speed yet. They haven't got Mayenda involved anything like as much as they would have hoped. Enzo Lafay's just been watching things, really hasn't been involved. They've got to be a little bit braver and start to realise where they are here.
Free kick in by Lafay, drops to the back post, Ballard can't get there, Jordan Gabriel will carry it forward. They've not been in the quarter-finals of the FA Cup, Port Vale, for 72 years, remember. They lead by a goal to nil with half an hour gone. Wayne trying to smuggle it into the path of Gabriel. Thumped clear by 09, but all the way back to Gauci. Port Vale really believe they can cause a shock today.
They're making it a scrap, it's a fight, and they're right up for it now.
Oh, that's a hefty challenge by Brown. He's going to get a yellow card. Slide tackle on Ballard, and the referee right in front of it. I think it had to be a booking.
Yeah, he was never quite getting there, was he, Dejon Brown there? And he clatters into to Dan Ballard. The big centre-half will be okay, but he's down on the floor. Yellow card shown. But they've done everything right. So far, Sunderland have hardly played any football. They haven't really been able to get the ball down, string 3 or 4 passes together, get it into an area where they start to threaten. You know, they've got to be braver in possession, sharper in possession, and start looking like a Premier League team. At the moment, they're not.
Well, the goalkeeper Gauci has gone down, and so Sunderland and Port Vale will get the chance to come to the near side. And actually there's a standing ovation for the Port Vale players as they trot over from the supporters here in the Lawn Street stand. But we were right in line with Ben Wayne's header, and he planted it beautifully. Elborg got a hand to it, but he couldn't keep it out. What an FA Cup moment, Andy.
Great, wonderful, absolutely what this game needed, because as I mentioned, that I think had Sunderland have gone in front, scored first here, it's going to be really tough for Port Vale. But they are energised by, of course, by the lead. The crowd, you can hear the atmosphere now has gone up 2 notches, and they're going to try and keep them going. They're going to try and just carry this team forward. So Sunderland now find themselves in a tricky situation. Plenty of time, of course, but so far they haven't played any football. They haven't knocked it about at all.
Andy Townsend is with us on Talksport. The stoppage in play is over. Leeds against Norwich to come live on Talksport. That's followed by the final word with Majestic and Adam Pardew from 6:30. 03717 Double 2, double 3, double 4 to have your say later. Monday night, West Ham against Brentford and the draw for the quarter-finals. Southampton, we know, are through today, having beaten Fulham live on Talksport 2 earlier. And Sunderland are 1-0 down here at Vale Park, which is absolutely jubilant at the moment. Sunderland look long with 09 down the inside left. Mayenda's after it, so too Cam Humphreys, who smuggles it away for Port Vale. Then it's clattered forward by John. Surely a foul by Alderete on Brown. Referee says no.
He's wrong. The referee's totally wrong there. It was a foul from Alderete. He didn't want to even turn and chase Dejan Brown there. He just body checked him.
And interestingly, Port Vale are about to make a substitution. Tyler McLaw, a central defender, is going to come on. There must be an injury in the back line. Long ball downfield. Diarra chips it over the keeper, but wide. It'll bobble wide. That's Sunderland's best chance of the game so far. 1-0 to Port Vale.
Certainly was. Straight ball down the middle, in between the two centre halves. Diarra ran onto it. Joe Gauci actually came out almost outside the box, but just did enough to maybe threaten Diarra, who looped it over his head, but well wide of the goal.
Well, is McLaw going to come on? He's gone back to sit
ready
down
to
in
go,
the dugout.
Joe. He was ready to go. He was absolutely stripped and
Kits
ready
on
to
and
go.
everything.
Correct, but signal maybe have come from somebody out there that I'm okay, give me another 5 minutes, let me see how I get on.
So, under the cloudy skies of the Potteries, it's Port Vale 1, Sunderland 0. 12 minutes of normal time remaining in the first half. A long way still to go in the game, but Sunderland facing an FA Cup shock here. Angulo for them. Right wing position, shimmies infield, early ball towards Rigg, cleared away only as far as Lefay. Back now to Diarra. Diarra square, Alderete. Everybody inside the Port Vale half bar Sunderland goalkeeper Elborg. Talby, Sunderland's number 7, teasing away from Gabriel, whipping in a low cross. It's cleared away by Humphreys. Bounces down to Ballard, who rolls a pass along the bobbly surface. Out to Talby again on the near side. Now 09 with the overlapping run. Plays it backwards to Enzo Lefay, who twists away from Walters. Nudges the ball to the edge of the penalty area. Kyle John beats Rigg to it. Now it's dropped to Talby, away on the left. Good ball in by Talby, headed away. Excellent header by Cameron Humphreys.
Great ball in. That's much better from Sunderland. Kept the ball there. 10 or 12 passes, the ball out to Talby down the left side. Beautiful flight across.
Enzo Lefay with a square pass to Luchar El Trauder. Now in an inverted role in the middle of midfield, it would seem. Sunderland playing from right to left in the first half towards the Port Vale end. 09 delivers a looping cross. Not had his best game today. Kept in play by Angulo. Angulo on the dead ball line, trying to twist and turn and tease the defender Gordon. Angulo still got it, standing here. Back to Diarra. No way through past the white shirts of Port Vale at the moment for Sunderland. They're forced to go back to the halfway line. Now it's Alderete. Well, they'll need all of their Premier League guile and quality here, Sunderland. Diarra's touch down the right-hand side. Angulo is offside. And the flag goes up to the great cheers of the Port Vale supporters.
But that's better, Joe, from Sunderland. Much better. That's the first bit of considered possession, really, that they've had and pressure that they've applied to the home team. Now, of course, because they have a lead, Port Vale naturally will drop that extra yard deeper. It's just instinct, human nature, that an underdog in this competition, when they get in front, when they're under pressure, they start to drop and they drop and they drop. And Sunderland have got to make use of that.
57 league places between the two teams, but Port Vale have made something of a mockery of that so far. In fact, their goalkeeper Gauci hasn't had anything to do as yet. It's his forward ball to Kyle John, who's blocked off by the sliding Rigg. What do Sunderland need to start doing better, Andy Townsend?
Just in terms of what we saw in that last little 5-minute spell, they started to just have the courage to get the ball down in tight areas, shift it about, a couple of short passes, then get it wide, and then start to cause a threat or two of their own from the wide areas.
Long ball floated forward by Lefay, headed away by Connor Hall, one of the tallest players on the pitch. It has dropped to Angulo with the dyed blonde hair. Recent signing, Nilson Angulo. Sunderland's number 10 in the blue and white, taking on the defender Gabriel. Plays it back now to Lefay. Lefay on the corner of the 18-yard box, and Sunderland have got nowhere to go really here. Very tight spaces for them to try and find an angle for a cross in. Talby, number 7, down the near side, the left, close to the corner flag. He meanders infield, finds Lefay again, looking for 09. 09 close to the dead ball line. Can he hoist in a cross? Goes back to Lefay again. Lefay plays reverse ball, hits Talby, cleared away. And now Brown on the break here for Port Vale. Plays it square to Ojo. Forward of him is Archer. Ojo carries it into the Sunderland half. He's got Archer to the left-hand side. Ojo goes on. Archer can pull it back across. He was a little too slow there, Ojo.
Yeah.
Cleared away by Ballard. Andy Townsend.
Yeah, good run, good break. Sunderland lost the ball almost on the edge of Port Vale's 18-yard box. Good interception. Funsi Ojo carried the ball 30-40 yards. He had people either side of him. He just didn't release it quick enough. And in the end, Sunderland back to recover. Still, that's a good counter-attack, a swift move forward from Port Vale.
Big scoreboard on the far side reminds us that there are 7 minutes of normal time to go in the first half. Long throw for Port Vale, in by Archer, headed away by Ballard. Firm header. Back to Gordon though, and now Archer onto his right foot. Can he deliver another teasing cross? Archer whips it in, and Brown took a double deflection there. May have hit Wayne on its way behind. I tell you what, Elborg, the goalkeeper, was statuesque. If that was on target, he wasn't getting it.
He wasn't getting it. Nice work from Archer on the left side, cutting in on his right foot, and he just fired it into 10, 12 players all in and around the penalty spot. And it was Brown that got his foot on it and just wide of the post.
Header on by Brown again, cleared by Alderete. Now Ojo. Port Vale leading by a goal to nil. Ojo down the right with Gabriel making an overlapping run. Ojo delivers the cross, cleared away by Sunderland. And now Angulo, midway inside his own half, has held it up neatly in front of Gordon. Back to Talby, but it's all a bit leaden-footed and ponderous from Sunderland at the moment.
Yeah, some really good work actually. Last couple of minutes from the home team, nice and decisive. I think that's what they've done. They've been decisive about everything they've done so far, Port Vale. When they're serving it forward, they're making sure it's long and it's in behind Sunderland. It's giving them problems. When they're having to defend, everybody's back. They've done very well so far. Sunderland have only had a little 5-minute spell where they started to apply a bit of pressure. They need a lot more of that.
Here is Talby with a ball in field, and then he rolls the square pass, a risky one. Archer intercepts it, forward of the centre circle. Archer for Port Vale, up to the edge of the D, he shoots, and he's blocked off by Lefay. Sunderland playing some risky passes at the moment in this game.
Yep, Talby there trying to knock a 40-yarder across the field, never getting there.
And it's Port Vale who have the lead. 5 minutes of the first half to go, plus any added time. This is why we love the FA Cup. Never doubt its unpredictability. Always expect the unexpected. On the right for Sunderland is Lefay with the red boots on, and again he stands on the ball. Sunderland not moving it with any great pace. Port Vale have got everybody in the black and white behind the ball. Ballard angles it to the right, and Diarra now in a one-on-one with Gordon, plays a forward pass right edge of the penalty area. Mayenda skips into the box, great run, cleared away at the last moment, comes back to Angulo to whip in across, headed up into the air and gathered by Gauci.
Yeah, that was better from Mayenda there. He looked a lot sharper. I think he went past Connor Hall in the box, got to the byline, and it was sort of squeezed across the 6-yard box before eventually Gauci gets his hands on it.
Bouncing ball, and Wayne nearly nips in between two blue shirts. It gets through to Elborg. This is FA Cup game day on Talksport.
Great kick, Joe, there from Joe Gauci, the goalkeeper. Because it bounced about 5 yards outside of Sunderland's box, out of his hands.
Angulo inside right, wriggles his way into the area and shoots, and Gauci goes down to make a relatively simple save. You'd say with 42 minutes gone, that's Sunderland's best effort of the game so far.
Probably is. Shot from distance that you would expect the goalie to save. Got his hands behind it and dealt with it nicely.
Free kick to Port Vale on halfway. It is FA Cup game day on Talksport with McDonald's. Order delivery on the McDonald's app from 11 a.m. 18 plus. Fees apply to delivery orders, subject to availability. Price may vary. The Champions League is back in the middle of next week. Liverpool, Tottenham, Arsenal, Manchester City and Chelsea all live on Talksport. Will be live in Madrid inside the stadium for both Atletico against Tottenham, and then on the Wednesday night Real Madrid against Manchester City. So lots to look forward to next week once the weekend of FA Cup football is done. And the shock is on here. Port Vale 1, Sunderland 0. Long they go with the free kick up towards Humphreys, who did win it in the air, but the loose ball is gathered by Elborg, and the Sunderland fans behind the goal are screaming at the keeper to get it forward quickly. He doesn't do that. Interesting to hear the reaction of the Sunderland fans at half-time in what has otherwise been a stellar season for them back in the Premier League. This is a game that they are expected to win, and they're making a poor job of it so far.
Yeah, haven't really got going at all, have they? But that's been owed to a committed first 43 minutes from Port Vale. They've been really very, very good. But yeah, I think Regis Labrie will want his players to have a little bit more courage and handling that ball and dealing with this awkward surface better than they have. They've got to be a bit braver. Got to get the front three involved a bit more, Sunderland. A lot of passes at the back. The two centre-halves have touched the ball, I think, too often. They need to get it forward a bit quicker and get those guys up front. Give them more opportunities to do their stuff.
A lot of work for Regis Labrie to do. Up against the team, bottom of the third tier today, Sunderland. As they go back to their goalkeeper Elborg, we've got 90 seconds of the first half remaining, plus whatever time is added on. Here in the tight confines of Vale Park, quite intimate surroundings these. Nice and close to the pitch. And Goulot for Sunderland has smuggled it wide right, and now charging forward on the attack is Diarra into the penalty area. The angle tight, right across the face of goal. Nobody could get the final touch.
Yeah, really good run that from Diarra. Excellent work from him. Connor Hall, the big centre-half, got dragged out of position. He thought he could make a challenge. Diarra skipped past him and then darted straight for the 18-yard box. He was slightly in a wider position than he would have liked, but hit it hard and low across the 6-yard box. Nobody there to apply a finishing touch.
Still 1-0 to Port Vale. Let's take you back to Ibrox. Talksport's David Tanner.
11 minutes gone in the second half. It's been all Rangers, but it's still Rangers 0, Celtic 0. Rangers should have scored a moment ago. Mikey Moore's corner from the left was met by Emmanuel Fernandez, and somehow Celtic scrambled it away. It's 0-0 in the Old Firm game.
Quarter-finals of the Scottish Cup. Earlier Southampton 1-0 winners at Fulham with a 91st minute penalty from Ross Stewart. 3 added minutes at the end of the first half here at Vale Park. A half in which Port Vale have absolutely excelled. You can hardly believe they are bottom of League One the way that they've been playing.
Very true. I mentioned the word spirit, Joe. The teams that are struggling, all the time you retain a bit of spirit, you've got some hope. Certainly this Port Vale team have got that. They've had it in abundance here.
Header away by John in the right full-back position almost for Port Vale. Sunderland will get a throw, and it'll be a long throw right at the very end of the first half. Ballard is forward, so too Alderete. Mayenda lurking on the edge of the 6-yard box. Here comes the long throw in towards Ballard at the near post. Towering header away by Cam Humphreys, his marker. The ball's come back out towards the Sunderland left, and Talby just lashes at it, slices it high up into the overcast skies. Miscued header by Gabriel, nodded down by 09. It's a right scrap, this one, but Port Vale are winning a lot of the second balls, and they have the lead. John hammers it away, only as far as 09. 09's cross, first time away on the volley by Hall. I mean, Port Vale are used to this surface. No question they've used it to their advantage.
I think they have, yeah. I wonder if Sunderland at half-time might consider maybe early in the second half a couple of changes.
Granit Xhaka maybe?
Yeah, a bit more experience and courage. As I said, those boys in the middle of the park, I don't think doing enough.
Talby shuffling infield from the left for Sunderland. Number 7 plays it back to Lutcher Elhair-Trauner. We are nearly 2 minutes through the 3 added in the first half. Pumped into the box by Lefay, headed down by Ballard, and easily gathered by Gauci. And that should just about be enough for Port Vale to lead at half-time.
Yeah, and I think they deserve it. I think they've been great. They've shown a lot of heart, and they've got to make sure they preserve and keep a little bit of energy in the tank, because it's going to get tougher if they want to get over the line and produce a massive shock here.
Of course, we'll have the second half live and in full, and then we'll be off to Elland Road for Leeds against Norwich on Talksport at 4:30 from the FA Cup. Out on the right-hand side for Sunderland is Angulo, darting infield, accelerating towards the right edge of the penalty area. Great run, slips it towards Mayenda, and good defending by Humphreys allows Gauci to come out and claim it at Mayenda's feet.
Better work down the right side, I think, from Diarra, Angulo, Mayenda in that channel a little bit more. They've threatened a little more, I think, Sunderland, as the half has gone on in that area, but still haven't really produced what we would consider a great chance.
We've already had a big story from the FA Cup today, that surprise win for Southampton at Fulham. All the reaction to come at half-time here, and we're 45 minutes away from the shock of the round here at Vale Park. Bottom of League One, Port Vale leads Sunderland by a 1-0. It had to be Ben Wade, the Newcastle fan, with his third goal of what is turning into an epic cup run for Port Vale. Scored the winner against Bristol Rovers in round 2, the winner against Bristol City in round 4, and he has Vale in front against Sunderland here in round 5. Only once have they ever reached the quarter-final of the competition, Port Vale. That was in the 1953-54 season. Would you believe it? They're 45 minutes away. Port Vale 1, Sunderland 0.
Well, he may be from Wellington, New Zealand, but Ben Waine is a Newcastle United fan. So, Wayne the lads, I mean, he would be absolutely loving that. But that's come from a set piece, Sandy Townsend, where he's alert in the box. We'll talk about the goal in a second, but let's go to Craven Cottage, because Fulham were beaten by Championship Southampton. Their manager, Tonda Eckhart, is with Talksport's Alex Crook.
Tonda, many congratulations. How proud are you of your players today to cause what could be the upset of the weekend?
I'm very proud. Very proud of the boys. It's been a great shift today. I was actually quite happy that we didn't have to go to extra time, so came right at the right point, that penalty towards the end. But yeah, support has been amazing today. Fans pushed us all the way through the game. That's why we decided to, because we knew there's going to be some tough moments in the second half, and luckily we won the toss today, so we could defend in front of them in the second half, and I think that helped us to go over those tough moments.
You're wearing a yellow kit to mark the fact it was 50 years ago this year that Southampton won the FA Cup at Wembley. Does that make it even more special, the fact that this cup adventure goes on? You're into the quarter-finals now?
Yeah, it does. I got one on Friday night at the auction, one of those special shirts.
Cost you a few quid, that, didn't it?
Oh, yeah, it did. No, it was a nice one, though. You could feel that on Friday when you have so many supporters coming together, how much it means to the club. And then you with that support, you just need to leave everything out on the pitch, and then you get what you get.
And talk to me about Ross Stewart. Obviously has missed a lot of football during his Southampton career due to injury. Kept ice cool in stoppage time, knowing that if that ball found the back of the net, you would be in the last 8. Did you have any doubt that he would put it away, the penalty?
No.
And what does it mean for him? As I say, he's had a terrible time with injuries. It's a special moment, beating a Premier League side.
Yeah, it's a great character, and he has always been on the pitch and off the pitch. Obviously, we are so happy when we get to have him on the pitch with us, gives the team so much energy. I think that he has also got a little bit more mature in the way that he knows to regulate himself. Sometimes that means that, I don't know, you leave out one part of a training session, but then to be ready for the game, and that's what is going to be the challenge for us for the rest of the season, and we're just so happy to have him.
I've got to ask you about the goal that they had ruled out in the first half. It was a goal kick that your goalkeeper hit against one of his own players. The referee blew because the ball was rolling. Fulham then put the ball in the back of the net. If you were the Fulham manager, Marco Silva, would you feel a little bit aggrieved about that, or was the law applied correctly?
Well, I can tell you that he was not too happy right next to me in that very moment. I'll take it as it is.
And you're a humble guy, but just finally, when you came in, Southampton were 20th in the Championship. You're now in with the chance of getting a playoff place potentially, and you're in the last 8 of the FA Cup. Could you have imagined it would go this well?
Yeah, head down, keep working. There's not more to say. We are still so far away. It's a nice one for today. We need to enjoy for today, but again, we're still playing catch up. There's so many more games that we just need to be spot on. So, yeah, stay humble, head down, keep working. That's what it's about.
Great stuff. Tonda, thanks for joining us and many congratulations.
Thank you.
There you go.
Terrific stuff. Alex Crook with Tonda Eckert, the Southampton manager, and Andy Townsend, a former Southampton player yourself. Just want to talk about that because it is the big shock of the round so far. Southampton winning away to Premier League Fulham. Head down, keep working. It feels like he's just focused on the job, and the results in the league show that, but that's something a bit special today, especially in those 1976 FA Cup final winning shirts.
Yeah, I mean, look, hey, that's a great result. Congratulations to the Saints, because that's a brilliant result for them, and it keeps their impetus and it keeps their momentum going in terms of trying to make sure they get in those playoff positions. Clearly the coach is doing a lot right. You don't go to a place like Fulham. Lots go to Fulham and come away with nothing, believe me. So that's a brilliant result. I was just looking at the Fulham team, mate. When you consider Castagna and Anderson and Sessegnon, Kearney, Smith Rowe, Oscar Bob, Rodrigo Muniz, they got a lot of guys out there that have played plenty of Premier League football and would have been expected to win that one. So there you go. Southampton went there with a game plan, stuck to it, had to perform and had to get a little bit of luck maybe with a decision or two, but they've got through and well played to them.
The flip side of that is I think that there may well be some Fulham fan backlash because, yes, he may well have picked a side he thought was good enough to win that tie, but they didn't win the tie. And you've got players like Tete, Bassi, Raul Jimenez, who came on after the penalty was scored in the 92nd minute. I mean, what's he meant to do? Sander Berger, Alex Iwobi. There's no Harry Wilson anyway. Anthony Robinson was on the bench today as well. So I think the Fulham fans will... There might be a bit of hindsight, but they'll be looking at it and think, hang on a minute, we could have actually got through and done what Palace did last year.
It's very, very true, that. And again, I never understand why perhaps too many liberties are taken with selection in the FA Cup. Look, nowadays with the size of the squads, coaches are always very wary of trying to keep everybody together, keeping everybody happy. Do you know what? However many players you got in the squad, you can't keep them all happy. It's impossible. You're better off picking your best team, I think, on the day. Fulham, Marco Silva would have been so much happier right now if his team hadn't have played well. He played his big hitters, but they're in the next round. So in trying to give everybody minutes and game time and keeping the squad ticking over, they've ended up losing a game, and now you have to face the stick that you're going to get from your fans on that.
Yeah, let's talk about Port Vale Sunderland, because Regis Labrie might be facing something similar at the end of the game. Port Vale are 1-0 up. They're bottom of League One. They're going down. It's incredible. And being alert in the box is what the finish is all about. But let's rewind to the Luke O'Nien. Extraordinary back pass. I mean, it's nearly from the halfway line. He's running towards his own goal. He smashes it, and the keeper's got to head it over. What on earth is Luke O'Nien doing?
Well, look, Ed, I mean, clearly, Ed, he's on his right foot. You know, he's predominantly a left-footed player. It was on his right foot, and he's trying to go back to the goalie. He's trying to knock it back to him, so as the goalie can have a touch and then knock it forward himself. In the end, he ends up, it's like a conversion. It's almost like he's trying to hit it over the crossbar, and the goalie he performs miracles. The back pedal, he gets his head on it about 3 yards from his goal line, and somehow heads it over that crossbar. But 2 corners later, it comes into the box. They don't clear the first one. The second ball comes back in, and Ben Waine is there. He's alert and alive, puts his head on it, loops it over the top of the goalie, and Port Vale have a lead.
And it is, for Ben Waine, a Newcastle fan, so sweet a moment, but it's about being alive. And maybe there's the fall of the ball, the bounce of the ball, but he's alive and pokes it home.
It's very true. You know, there were so many people in the box that potentially could have got on the end of it, but you know what, he's worked hard, and he's always been involved in pretty much everything whenever the ball's been served forward. Ben Waine, he had another little half a chance with his left foot from a corner off the other side that in the end was blocked and just went through to the goalkeeper, but credit to him. You know, again, he's just on the move as that ball arrives, and that's what forwards tend to do in the box. That's what naturally their instinct is. They just see a chance, a moment for them. He got his head on it, and he's given his team a good lead. And you know what? I think they deserve their lead. Sunderland, as the half have gone on, there's they've gone up a little bit of a gear because there's a bit more desperation in their game now, but they haven't played any real football. You wouldn't know. When you're watching this game, you wouldn't know which team's bottom of the League One and which one's doing great in the Premier League.
No, you're spot on. Do you think Regis Labrie is giving them a rocket at half-time?
Well, I think a considered 1-8. I think one of those ones where he's probably said, listen, if we're not careful here, we're going to be in big trouble. I need a little bit more courage and belief from you central midfield players. Enzo Lefebvre is sort of tottering around. Every now and again he gets on the ball, threatening to do something, but has done very little. Their main threat has come through Diarra and Angulo down the right side. They've been quite lively. But to me, it's screaming out for Granit Xhaka today. Someone to come out there, get out there with a bit of presence to get on that ball and start dictating a little bit for his team. And I don't think Sunderland have done that so far. I think they've served it forward out of hope rather than expectation. Down the right side, one or two looked a little bit lively, but still really not working Joe Gauci and the Paul Bell goal anywhere near enough. They need someone to start controlling and bossing things out there, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of changes within 5 minutes.
Andy, for the time being, thank you very much. Second half coming up live on Talksport, and what a story. Port Vale 1, Sunderland 0 at half-time. What a story already at Craven Cottage in the FA Cup. Fulham 0, Southampton won a full-time score. Championship side through to the quarter-finals. Leeds Norwich here at Elland Road is coming up at 4:30. Let's check in on the Scottish Cup quarter-final, the old firm quarter-final. David Tanner.
70 minutes gone. It's Rangers 0, Celtic 0. And like the first half hour or so of the first half, Rangers have been totally dominant, but they haven't troubled the Celtic goalkeeper. Celtic, who are without Callum McGregor, their captain, who's injured today, and Kieran Tierney, have struggled to keep a hold of the ball. There've just been a couple of changes. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's come on to midfield, and Thomas Chinchara up front. Will that give them something of a hold in the game? At the moment, though, it's all Rangers without troubling the goalkeeper. Rangers 0, Celtic 0.
Full-time in League One, Wimbledon 1, Northampton 0. The woes go on for Cobblers boss Kevin Nolan. Over on Talksport 2 at 3, live Super League action. Leeds Rhinos host Cast Tigers, and on commentary duty will be Craig Murdoch.
It's round 4 of Betfred Super League this afternoon, live on Talksport 2. We have the impressive Leeds Rhinos after a super performance in Las Vegas last week, up against the Cast Tigers, who have started OK, but recent results haven't gone their way. For the Rhinos, who put the champions Hull KR to the sword last week on the big stage in City, and Sin City will again be driven by the impressive Jake Connor, and Mika Sivo after the hat-trick last week will be one to watch. For the Tigers, who have key players out with long-term injuries, but Mapa Papalangi has certainly made an impression in the early rounds. It's Leeds Rhinos versus Cast Tigers, full live commentary on Talksport 2. Kick-off is 3 p.m.
You are listening to FA Cup Game Day on Talksport with McDonald's. Order delivery on the McDonald's app from 11 a.m. 18 plus fees apply. 2 delivery orders subject to availability. Price may vary. They're a bit cheeky at Vale Park. They were playing Sam Bender at half-time, obviously a Newcastle fan, and that's because Port Vale are leading Sunderland by a goal to 0. Earlier, Southampton knocked out Premier League Fulham on Talksport 2. We had live commentary of that. This one could be an even bigger shock. Second half coming up live on Talksport.
I'll now hand you over to my best man, Eddie. Wow, wow, wow. Second time's a charm, eh, Billy boy? Oh, God.
Substitution, courtesy of Paddy Power. Embarrassing Eddie makes way for sensible Samuel.
Cool, that was close. You might not always pick the right starter, but your sub can still deliver. Because with Paddy's Super Sub, your bet rolls over to the player coming on. Paddy Power.
Valid on selected leagues and markets only. Pre-match and in-play bets on qualifying player outcome selections only. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus, gambleware.org.
Ah, Daniel, out of all your decisions lately, choosing Avanti West Coast First Class is by far your best. Peace and space to work, and that's service. You don't have to find the coffee finds you. Oh, what's that? The smell of bacon and success, Daniel. Success.
Arrive ready with Avanti West Coast First Class. Enjoy delicious, freshly prepared food and drink and service to your seat. Some journeys belong in first class. Book direct with Avanti West Coast. Exclusions and limitations apply.
Need anything from Tesco?
Snacks and milk, love.
How about discounts on holidays abroad?
Don't forget fruit and veg for our school.
Free nappies for premature babies.
And a quiet hour in store to shop in peace.
Can I get £2.50 cinema tickets on Tuesdays? We know you need more than just groceries from us. We do all this because every little helps.
Need anything from Tesco?
Oh yeah, do you mind if I get some... For further information, visit tescoplc.com/needanythingfromtesco.
Tesco Insurance are driving down the cost of motoring with 10% off car insurance. Take out a car insurance policy before the 15th of May 2026 and you'll get 10% off with club card prices. We offer a range of cover options so you can choose the one that's right for you. Save 10% when you buy or renew a car policy with Tesco Insurance. Search Tesco Car Insurance and get a quote direct today. Club card required. Excludes add-ons. T's and C's apply.
Football Sunday Game Day Live.
It's no carpet, it could be a leveller. Port Vale against Sunderland, FA Cup 5th round, live on Talksport.
Oh, and Luke O'Neill with a heavy back pass, headed over his own crossbar by the goalkeeper. That's incredible.
Incredible stuff.
Left-footed Wayne tries to turn it in. Up goes Brown. Wayne has scored! He's done it again in the FA Cup. The Newcastle fan, bottom of League One, leading Sunderland by a goal to nil.
Yeah, live on Talksport, Port Vale 1, Sunderland 0, New Zealander and Newcastle fan Ben Wayne, the goal scorer, and he will be representing the All Whites at the World Cup. Well, it's not all white for Sunderland right now. As it stands, they're heading out of the Cup. Second half with Andy Townsend and Joe Shannon.
Thank you, Adrian. Perfect timing. As we are about to get ready to go for the second 45 and a half-time change for Port Vale. Cam Humphreys has had to come off. Tyler McGlaw, the former Blackburn youngster who started the victory over Bristol City in midweek, is the man who has come on. So McGlaw for Humphreys at half-time. No changes, interestingly, for Sunderland, who could be on the wrong end of an epic cup shock, the way that this game is going. 1-0 to Port Vale as the second half begins. Sunderland from left to right in the blue and white, and Port Vale from right to left in white shirts, black shorts and white socks. Port Vale, Gauci in goal, Gabriel, John, McGlaw, Hall and Gordon at the back, Walters and Ojo, Wayne the goal scorer, Archer and Brown up front. And for Sunderland, Elborg in goal, Hetrauda, Ballard, Alderete and O'Neill. Headed downfield by Lefay here for Sunderland. He's only 25 yards out. He'll steer it square to the left, and Talby with a shot, and that's sliced well wide. Diarra and Rigg holding for Sunderland. Talby, Lefay and Gulo and Mayenda, the rest of the 11. The Sunderland bench is Moore, Alexic, Isidore, Jensen Jones, Harrison Jones, Xhaka, and then Whittaker, Abdullahi and young Finn Geragusian. So it's a real blend of players on the Sunderland bench, but Xhaka would be the obvious man to come on as and when Regis Lebris decides to make a change. We're a minute into the second half. Port Vale have the ball with Ethan Archer. Some of the Vale fans just retaking their seats in front of us here early on in the second half. Gordon will knock it infield to Ojo on this very bobbly, very muddy pitch. Classic throwback to the old days of the FA Cup. And it's the underdogs who have the advantage, Andy Townsend.
Yes, again already Connor Hall, the giant centre-half that Port Vale have with his left foot booming a 40-50 yarder straight up the middle. Alderete puts his head on it, and then it's a scrap. Who's going to pick up that second ball? Sunderland, though, certainly I think there's a bit more hunger and appetite about them, as you would expect. When you're one down, when you're on the receiving end of a shock, you know you need to liven up.
Well, they do have a corner now, do Sunderland, on the far side of the field as they look at it. This is Talksport, live from the FA Cup, the 5th round at Vale Park, where an almighty shock could be on the cards. Corner, though, to Sunderland. It's going to be whipped in, right-footed by Lefay, punched away by Gauci, the goalkeeper, nodded back in by O'Neill. Oh, Gauci can't get hold of it. Lob from Diarra, headed off the line. Talby, saved down low by Gauci. They get away with it just about, Port Vale, riding their luck.
They certainly did there, yeah, because the ball was bobbling around. They couldn't get it away, couldn't clear it. And Sunderland kept putting it back into a ruck of players. Eventually Joe Gauci falling on the ball, much to the relief of everybody from the Port Vale side of things here.
Well, that's the sort of thing that we might see time and time again in this second half as Port Vale tried to hang on to their lead. Mayenda tangling with John off the ball, and it's a free kick to Port Vale on the edge of the D on this near side of the field.
That last corner, Joe, again, Connor Hall, I just mentioned him, a giant centre-half for Port Vale. He's picking up Dan Ballard. He was grabbing him, honestly, grabbing his shirt, he had an arm round his throat, arm round his neck, and honestly, be very, very careful. You've got to be so careful of doing this when you're trying to deny somebody. You've got to be a little cute, I think, in the way that you do that. So Connor Hall, listen, has got to be careful.
Well, so far, it's the Newcastle supporting New Zealander, Ben Waine, second goal in 6 days in the FA Cup, whose goal separates the two teams. He has scored against Premier League Sunderland, who last reached the quarter-final in 2013-2014. Massive favourites, of course, today, Sunderland, but it's not gone for them at all so far. They haven't played well enough for one thing, but there is still plenty of time left in this game under the gloomy, cloudy skies with the big floodlights on at Vale Park. Once dubbed the Wembley of the North, if they win today, they'll be a game away from Wembley itself, Port Vale. And they've conceded a free kick on the halfway line on the far side, the Sunderland left as we look at it, in front of the railway stand, single-tiered and full of Port Vale supporters. The referee's just going across to check on Talby, who is helped to his feet.
Yeah, looked like Talby there, I think, just ran into Jordan Gabriel in that right wing-back position, who played very well in the first half. Gabriel, real competitive lad. I thought he used his energy and his strength well.
Forward by Lefay, into the feet of Rigg, tries a reverse ball from midway inside the Port Vale half, and it's cleared away. The ball really bobbles up high in front of Ballard on the halfway line. They're in the muddiest section of the pitch at the moment, right in front of the two dugouts, as Ballard shepherds it back to Elborg, who does look a little uncertain with the ball at his feet, the goalkeeper. Then it's Diarra's touch, prodding it out towards the right, and Angulo. Very scrappy game. Angulo caught by Hall. Anthony Taylor, well, he's not convinced by the challenge, but I think he let the advantage play because Sunderland had it. It's back with Gabriel, and now he plays it back to goalkeeper Gauci. Well, Sunderland contesting every decision at the moment. There seems to be a bit more life about the Premier League team early on in the second half, but they're still a goal down on Talksport.
They are. They're serving it forward long now as well, Sunderland. Not a bad idea, actually. Turn Paul Vale round, keep asking questions of them defensively. And the pressure at the moment is coming from the Premier League team. Not necessarily with anything that subtle, but they're just knocking it long and knocking it in behind Port Vale.
3,000 Sunderland fans away to our right at the Bycars end of the ground, urging their team forward. Southampton have already caused a shock in the FA Cup today. 1-0 winners at Craven Cottage over Fulham. That was live on Talksport 2. And on Talksport still to come, Leeds against Norwich at full 30 is live and in full. Good work by Gordon, tracking back for Port Vale to whip it off the toes of Mayenda. He hoists it clear, not very far. Foul by Ojo on Diarra. Free kick to Sunderland, about 30-35 yards out.
Yeah, Liam Gordon it was actually. Did well to get back and pinch the ball off of Diarra, but then his right-footed clearance was a really weak one. And therefore, Sunderland now have a free kick. Enzo Lefay on the ball, 30 yards out, Joe? Something like that.
It's pretty much right in line with our commentary position on the near side, back of the Lawn Street stand. Port Vale, bottom of League One, 10 points from safety in League One, and defending a 1-0 lead here in the FA Cup against the mighty Black Cats.
Yep, Alderete and Dan Ballard in the box for this one. Enzo Lefay looking like he's going to clip something in there.
There are 4 in the Port Vale wall. Lefay, one arm up into the air. How's the delivery right-footed? It's a good one. Mayenda with a looping header is going to drift well wide of goal.
Yeah, when you're central sometimes, as Enzo Lefay was there, you're trying to clip something in, it's difficult for those attackers to kind of get on the end of it and get any real power. Sometimes it's got to go wide first. But I think because of the surface, I think if you do that, then the person in possession then's got to take a touch, maybe a second touch to settle it down before it eventually comes in the box.
Well, Sunderland fans, especially if it stays like this, you will want to have your say later on the final word with Majestic and Alan Pardew. 03717 223344, the number to call to do just that. A long way still to go in the game, but we're 53 minutes in and Port Vale lead. The ball is up to the feet of Brown, a long way downfield for Port Vale, who barely had a kick in the Sunderland half in the second half so far. And there's a foul on Lefay by Wayne, the goal scorer, tugging him back, and he gets a yellow card.
That was needless, that, from Ben Wayne. Enzo Lefay was 10 yards short of the halfway line. Yes, he had possession of the ball, but Wayne decided to pull him back, and he's now on a yellow card.
You couldn't write it, could you, the Newcastle fans scoring against Sunderland today? Almost fated, but Sunderland are not out of the cup tie just yet. Gordon has conceded a throw. Sunderland throw down by the corner flag in front of 3,100 travelling fans. A lot of red and white scarves behind the goal. Sunderland today playing in the blue and white. And here comes 09 to take what will be a long throw. Ballard is forward, so too Alderete. At the back post are Rigg and Mayenda. Diarra near post. In comes the throw from 09. Up goes Ballard. Bouncing ball gathered by Gauchi.
Yeah, not ideal for the ball to bounce actually from a long throw, level with the near post, but no blue shirt there. Nobody there really anticipating that it might beat everyone at the near post.
That's the voice of Andy Townsend with us today on Talksport. Port Vale free kick out in the right wing position now.
We know where this is going, Joe.
Oh yes.
This is going straight into that box, and Connor Hall and all those big guys at the back, Jordan Gabriel, they're all there. They're all looking to go and add that bit of muscle and bit of height and presence in the box.
Well, Andre Gray, the man who played in an FA Cup final for Watford in 2019, they were beaten 6-0 by Manchester City that day, is stripped and ready to come on in the black and white of Port Vale. So he'll be onto the field maybe just after this free kick is taken. Away on the right, plenty forward for Port Vale. Archer standing over it, 1-0 they lead. Archer chips the ball into the area, and it's gathered by Melker Elborg, the stand-in Sunderland goalkeeper, with Robin Roofs still out injured.
Yeah, Dejon Brown there just couldn't anticipate where that delivery was going to drop. It was just a yard or two away from it. Comfortable work for the goalie to maybe just get there and deal with that.
Well, there'll be a double change for Port Vale. The former Birmingham midfielder George Hall is set to come on as well. Long go Sunderland, high down the inside left. Mayenda could be in behind here, down by the dead ball line. Gabriel gets across, hammers it into the roof of the stand, and it's another Sunderland corner.
Yeah, he did well there, Mayenda, actually. He never gave that up, and he pressurised Kyle John. Just a little subtle nudge in the back. In the end, they managed to hack it away, but it is now a Sunderland corner off their left side.
Well, suddenly there's a great deal of jeopardy back in the cup tie. Sunderland seeking an equaliser here. Lefay with an in-swinging right-footed corner, headed away by Ojo. It'll bounce down to Brown, who nods it forward, and Archer's chasing shy of halfway, well covered by Luke 09. For a moment there it was 2 against 2. Sunderland throw in front of the Port Vale dugout. And we can get an update from Ibrox and Talksport's David Tanner.
3 minutes left of the 90 minutes. It's Rangers 0, Celtic 0, and Rangers have just had the best chance of the game. A corner from the right. It was headed towards goal, and Benjamin Nygren, of all people, cleared off the line for Celtic. Rangers 0, Celtic 0. We're heading for extra time.
And meanwhile here, double change for the home team. Andre Gray and also George Hall, as mentioned, have come on for Archer and Brown, who you mentioned to me at half-time, Andy, on a yellow card, Dejon Brown, and was already looking a little leggy.
He was, yeah. He certainly put a lot of effort in the first half, but he looked a little short of the fitness levels required, and no surprise now to see Andre Gray enter in the fray.
Sunderland go long, only half-headed away by Connor Hall, then the touch from McGlaw to knock it out wide, only as far as Angulo. couple of yards from the dead ball line, plays it back to Hertrauder. Hertrauder takes a touch, it's got to go in surely from Hertrauder. He's held it up, looks for Diarra in the penalty area. Diarra from a tight angle. Oh, he's carried the ball out to play, has he? No, corner kick given. I thought Diarra had taken it out of play.
It looked like it, Joe, didn't it? Diarra looked like he'd gone to the byline and Conor Hall had gone with him, and it looked like it rolled over the line with nothing conclusive at all. He then prods it off of Conor Hall, and the referee gives a corner.
Well, there'll be a good deal of controversy if this ends up in the back of the net. Corner to Sunderland. Chris Rigg will take it. The 18-year-old in front of the Sunderland fans, a mass of Sunderland fans at the Baikal stand end. Whipped in by Rigg, deep to the back post. Ballard trying to get underneath it. No foul by Conor Hall. The two number 5s in a tangle, and the Port Vale fans cheer ironically as the ball goes out for a goal kick, nearly an hour gone.
And Dan Ballard's just as he's running back to his centre-half position, he's just run past Anthony Taylor and clearly said, he's grabbing me, he's pulling me, he's pushing me. Keep your eye on Conor Hall. So just got to be a little bit careful. Do not concede anything unnecessary today. If it means you just got to go shoulder to shoulder with your opposite number, then do that. You haven't always got to grab their shirt and half their hair every time they go to attack the ball.
Well, with every minute that goes by, the shot gets closer and closer. 1-0 to Port Vale. No sign of any imminent changes for Sunderland just yet, but I can see that they have got players warming up.
They will do now. Everyone will be told to keep on their toes, be ready. That'll be the message for any of the subs out there at the moment. Go and have your warm-ups, but be ready to go.
And Sunderland dominating possession in the first 15 minutes of the second half, but they haven't really tested Gauchi yet. Long throw into the area from 09, and it could drop for Angulo. Mayanda got his head to it. Rigg is there, can't scramble it in. In the way is Rhys Walters to get it away for Port Vale.
Well, I thought Chris Rigg was going to hit that.
Andre Gray goes long, and George Hall is clear. Hall, can he get round the keeper? Taken out by Elborg. There's got to be a red card, surely.
He's got to go.
Elborg slid in, hacked him down. Here comes Anthony Taylor. Sunderland are in big trouble, and Elborg gets a yellow.
Wow.
My goodness me.
Yellow.
Anthony Taylor must think there was a covering defender. I was sure he was going to be off.
Well, I thought it was going to be a red.
VAR will check it. In operation at Vale Park for the first time ever today. He could well still be in big trouble. Melker Elborg. How on earth was Anthony Taylor not given red?
Well, he thinks that there was somebody getting back. In fairness to Hall, he was sprinting to get that touch almost on the corner of the 18-yard box. Goalkeeper's outside the box. The Port Vale substitute, he gets there first, prods it towards the corner flag. In fairness, Joe, towards the corner flag, goalkeeper cleans him out. There was a blue shirt getting back. How far back he was, we can't tell from this angle. We're too far away. It's right on the other side of the field. But one thing's for sure, if he survives that, and it looks like he has, it looks like the VAR agrees with Anthony Taylor. He's a lucky boy.
He has survived it. Goodness me. Although VAR is now checking.
Right.
For a possible red card for a denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. Now, we're being told that Hertrauder was covering, but what's Anthony Taylor going to do? He's going to come and look at the pitch side monitor.
It spells trouble.
In fact, he's booked. One of the Port Vale assistants, or maybe John Brady's been booked, the manager.
Oh, the referee has sold the entire ground a dummy, including me, I might add there, because he comes walking over as if he's going to check a monitor, but he then brandishes a yellow card. So it looks like Melker Elborg is going to get away with that.
Well, his heart must have been racing there, the goalkeeper. And it might still be in a moment. 1-0 to Port Vale. Sunderland survive. They are not down to 10 men. George Hall and Wayne over the free kick, right on the edge of the area. Plenty forward for it as well. What a noise at Vale Park. This is why we love the FA Cup. Just how we like it on Talksport. Free kick, right edge of the penalty area. George Hall to whip it into the wall. It's come back out to George Hall. Low ball in, only half away. Sunderland eventually smuggle it clear to the halfway line. Well, that decision not to send off Elborg will be talked about time and time again if Sunderland go on to win the tie. And what's he done here, Anthony Taylor? He's given Sunderland a free kick. Meanwhile, full time in the Scottish Cup at Ibrox. David Tanner.
It's Rangers 0, Celtic 0 after 90 minutes. We go to extra time now. Nico Raskin's header was cleared off the line with 4 minutes of the regulation, 90 to go. And Celtic end this 90 minutes without having had a shot on target. That said, Rangers haven't really troubled Sinisalo in Celtic's goal either. Rangers 0, Celtic 0. We're off to extra time in the Scottish Cup.
A confirmation John Brady was booked as we suspected, the Port Vale manager.
Surprised, Joe.
Well, we're being told that maybe Head Chowder was covering. So maybe it wasn't the goal-scoring opportunity that it looked from we're a long way from it.
We are.
And he was maybe going wide of the keeper as well.
Yes, I think he was certainly that. But when the goalkeeper comes outside beyond the 18-yard line, cleans somebody out, you can understand Port Vale are wanting something a little better than what they ended up with, which is every Sunderland player back on the field behind the ball and a free kick in a wide area. They thought it was a red card.
Sunderland on the attack now. Angulo down the near side, the right, taking on Gordon in a one-on-one. Gordon stands up well, pokes it out of play. Sunderland throw. Oh, this is great, isn't it, Andy? Pudding of a pitch, controversial decisions, the underdog in front. This is what the FA Cup is all about.
That's why we love it. That's what it is, and it never fails to disappoint. But Port Vale got a long way to go yet. Sunderland with this long throw from O'Nien once more off this right side.
We're in the 65th minute. Luke O'Nien with another long throw, hurled towards Ballard, who got his head to it but sent it away from goal. Shove on Ballard, surely edge of the box, nothing given. Here goes Wayne on the counter, and he's put it down the right to Gray. Port Vale fans are on their feet. Andre Gray will steer it into the area. Out comes Elborg, and this time he beats George Hall to it.
Yeah, Andre Gray needed to produce something a little more positive, perhaps just something a little better there. I tell you what, George Hall has entered the fray and he is sprinting 100 mile an hour every time that ball goes beyond the Sunderland defence. It's he's the one who's got the energy and the legs to get on the end of it.
Well, they do look a threat all of a sudden on the counter-attack. Port Vale, Sunderland push forward in search of an equaliser that isn't yet forthcoming. Leeds against Norwich still to come on Talksport Monday night. West Ham against Brentford plus the draw. Breakfast live all week from the Cheltenham Festival too. Kemstein Tauby for Sunderland. Plays it square to Head Chowder, and now Diarra out towards the right corner of the area. Diarra back to Head Chowder again. He's going to lay it square into the path of Lefay. The Sunderland fans asking for him to shoot. O'Nien threads the ball down the left edge of the box. He looks for Tauby. Back to O'Nien, and Sunderland building here. Camped inside the Port Vale half. Tauby with a right wing cross. It's going to bounce to the far post, and Diarra not quick enough on the uptake to realise it was going to reach it.
Yeah, cross from Tauby with his right foot off the left hand side, so it was always curling out of play. He hit it big, and on the other side Diarra just couldn't anticipate it and get it. Their best football and their best work, I think, has been done down their right side, Sunderland. Certainly Angulo and Diarra and Mayenda at times in the first half, not so much in the second period, but that I think is their best way forward down this side.
The ball will be cleared upfield by Gauchi, all in green. The goalkeeper on loan from Aston Villa thunders the ball downfield. It'll bounce towards the right, and Tyler McGlaw, the Port Vale defender who came on as a half-time substitute, he's won the ball in the tackle on the halfway line. Plays it square to Ojo, shouts a man on, loses out to Angulo. Angulo can't get beyond Walters, who's done a brilliant job, I think, so far for Port Vale, screening the back five.
Yeah, he's worked really hard, and I've got news for him. He's got to work even harder if they want to get this game done and won. There's a long way to go yet. A lot of football still to be played.
Wilson Isidore to come on for Sunderland shortly into the final quarter of the 90. Port Vale 1, Sunderland 0. Lefay level with the edge of the 18-yard box, twisting beyond Gabriel, deflection on the cross. That's a corner for Sunderland. They've made it through 3/4 of the cup tie, Port Vale.
They certainly have. Here's that change, Joe. Yeah, you're right. Wilson Isidore, his running power now will no doubt be most useful.
It's Isidore for Tauby.
Just again, I've just seen Dan Ballard again say to Anthony Taylor, keep an eye on me and Connor Hall. He did, honestly, he's just reminded me, and you have to.
Jostling and holding.
Correct. There's been so much pushing and pulling, and those two guys, the biggest two guys out there in the 6-yard box.
Plenty forward in blue. This will be an in-swinging corner in by Enzo Lefebvre, and Ballard heads it over the top.
Different tactic from Dan Ballard there. I think he's just gone, because he's getting grabbed and he's finding it difficult to avoid the shackles of Connor Hall. He's just stood slap bang in the middle of the 6-yard box there, and that was his head that got to that ball first, but because he was so close, he just couldn't keep it down.
Regis Lebris on the near side touchline, watching on with his arms folded. How concerned is he at the moment, Andy Townsend? 22 minutes to go.
They've had pressure, they've been better second half, but without stretching Port Vale yet, without really exposing them, without getting behind them. Everything's coming into the box, but it's coming in from distance, from in front of the League One team, and they're coping reasonably admirably. The only threat so far second half has mainly been corners.
Forward by Diarra, chip tied down the right. Rigg will get to it. Lucky bobble into his path. Rigg now with the in-swinging cross. Back post Angulo, and tipped over the bar by the goalkeeper. What a leap that was!
Oh, what a great ball from Chris Rigg. He was put through, and he's running down. He's sprinting almost on the touchline on the right side. He chops back on his left foot, hits a fabulous deep cross, and Angulo rises majestically, puts his head on that, back across the goal. A great stop from Joe Gauci.
Just over 20 minutes to go. Enzo Lefebvre delivers the corner. Ballard headed it over the top only by a whisker. They're getting closer and closer. Gauci got fingertips to that. What a save.
Yeah, what a great save. And again, I think Dan Ballard, I mentioned all afternoon, he's been saying, look, watch this big guy, he keeps grabbing me. Well, all of a sudden now, Connor Hall has let him get 2 headers in the space of a couple of minutes.
Closing in on 10 corners, Sunderland. Rigg takes the latest, deep to the back post, headed back across, cleared only half away by Port Vale to the edge of the area, back in by 09. Ballard jumping, it's Gauci's ball. Gauci for Port Vale, hammers it high upfield, looking early for Gray on the counter, beaten to it by the head of Angulo. The loose ball bounces on the halfway line, foul by Rigg on Ojo. Free kick to Port Vale, less than 20 minutes left. Port Vale, as Gauci goes down, as it stands, would be a game away from Wembley Stadium.
Oh, Joe Gauci's gone down, and I don't know what he's done, the Port Vale goalkeeper, whether he's popped his groin there as he knocked that ball forward 50, 60 yards. But the last thing you need is to lose your goalkeeper, because he's been in the thick of it. Whether or not this is a little bit of a tactical one, I don't know, as Joe Gauci gets some treatment. The Port Vale boys have all coming over for a drink, as are the Sunderland boys, to be fair.
Isn't it amazing what John Brady said in the build-up to this game, Andy? I've managed over 500 games in my time, and no matter how this goes, from now until the end of the season, this is about a team bottom of League One. He said they're one of the best groups I've ever worked with.
Right. Listen, he's got to try and have everybody on side and on board to give them any sort of chance of getting out of the trouble they're in the league. He needs everybody pulling together. They've done him proud today. They really have. They've done very, very well up to now, Port Vale, and they're still battling hard. And it wouldn't surprise me if they have another chance, maybe to even extend their lead, but they're going to have to work so hard to keep Sunderland out here.
You are listening to FA Cup Game Day on Talksport with McDonald's. Order delivery on the McDonald's app from 11 a.m, 18 plus. Fees apply to delivery orders, subject to availability. Price may vary. Port Vale free kick, halfway line. They're just going to thump this long, I think.
They're sending. What will happen here? Sunderland will hold a line maybe 10 yards outside the box. But irrespective of that, Connor Hall and Tyler McGraw, they're all going forward, all the big guys.
Taken quickly to George Hall, corner of the area. Tripped by Rigg, was he? No. Hall felt there was contact. Anthony Taylor was close by. Waves away the appeal. Sunderland goal kick.
Yeah, those big guys won't thank the Port Vale boys for taking that short there. They made that trip forward, expecting the ball to come into the box, and they took it short, and unfortunately George Hall couldn't keep his feet, and they've given the ball away.
17 and a half minutes to go, plus added time. Sunderland running out of time a little bit here. The Premier League team, a goal down at Vale Park. They call themselves the Valiants, and they've been most certainly valiant so far today, Port Vale. Whatever happens in the game, they can be proud of their efforts today, even if Sunderland do come back, but that looks by no means a certainty. Diarra scampering over the halfway line. Good ball down the right. Mayenda. Good challenge by John. Sliding in and timing it well. Goal kick, says Anthony Taylor. And he punches the air, the captain.
What a great challenge, wasn't it? Because it was really clever play, actually, from Rigg initially to feed Diarra, who then rolled it on once more. But Kyle John, the Port Vale skipper, he's not the biggest guy back there, but he's a real competitor. Gets across and gets his foot in. And I thought it was a corner, I'll be honest with you, Joe, initially, but relief all round as he points to a goal kick.
Former Everton man against Sunderland here. Wayne for Port Vale, loses out on the halfway line. Ojo then just smacks it high up into the air. Header away by Alderete. Then the flick by Rigg, forward by Diarra. Halfway line is Mayenda. Isidore rolls it down the right hand side. Diarra's got good pace, beaten by Gordon, and then the referee stopped it with both Mayenda and Isidore having gone down. Free kick Sunderland on halfway.
Yeah, didn't really see exactly what happened there in terms of a free kick. Anthony Taylor deciding that Sunderland do have a free kick. Enzo Ofei's going to take it. All the big guys piling forward now. Obviously, desperation starting to set in.
More than 10,500 at Vale Park today. 3,000 Sunderland fans are very disappointed by the way the game has gone so far. Here comes Gauci, doesn't get there to the high ball. Cleared away by Port Vale. The goalkeeper gets away with one. Defenders in front of him smuggle it away. Angulo in the left wing position. He can't get past Jordan Gabriel. Great tenacity from Gabriel. Great diligence in his defending. And he goes down and gets a free kick. And as I say, with every passing second, every passing minute, the prospect of the victory, the prospect of an almighty shock feels ever more possible for the Port Vale fans.
Everybody in the stadium is looking at the clock. Let me tell you, nobody is looking at that clock more than Regis Labrise and those Sunderland players. Every time the ref blows his whistle, first reaction, you look at the clock, you want to see how long is left. We've just gone past the 75-minute mark. There will, of course, be plenty of time added on, as ever.
Flick by Gray down the middle for Port Vale. Across comes Alderete, able to win possession easily enough. Sunderland have it with Lefay. Midway inside his own half of the field. We'll be over to Ibrox in just a moment with the latest in extra time of the Old Firm Cup derby. Header away by McLaw for Port Vale, but it's dropped to Angulo. Was that handball? It was, and let's get news from Ibrox with David Tanner.
And we're 8 minutes into extra time with a chance for Rangers now. It's the man who scored 2 goals last week, Chermiti, and his shot is blocked behind for a corner kick. That has been the best effort at goal from Rangers in extra time. So far, Celtic cannot keep the ball in this match. Rangers 0, Celtic 0.
Port Vale 1, Sunderland 0 here on a day where we've already had one FA Cup shock as Southampton beat Fulham. Live on Talksport 2, a win for Southampton at Craven Cottage thanks to a 91st minute penalty from Ross Stewart. You can have your say on that later, Fulham and Southampton fans, on 03717 223344 from 6:30 on the final word with Majestic and Alan Pardew. That after our commentary of Leeds against Norwich. Isidore for Sunderland, midway inside opposition territory, pokes the ball into the penalty area. Gauci should claim this. He's able to actually let it trickle out for a goal kick, Andy Townsend.
Yeah, that ball pokes through there in the midfield area. Never quite finding Angulo or Isidore. Joe Gauci able just to watch that one sail out for a goal kick. It's a good question, Joe. I'll be listening in the car on the way home, of course, to talk sport and about Fulham and the team that was selected today and all those regular first teamers on the bench for a team that are mid-table Premier League, Premier League safety, comforts of mid-table. You'd think they'd be going full tilt at it today.
Ball is in the centre circle, forward by Gordon for Port Vale, hoisting it up the left-hand side. George Hall, a willing runner again. Port Vale fans get to their feet as Ballard volleys the ball out of play. Port Vale getting closer and closer. 12 and a half minutes of normal time remain. Closer and closer to a first FA Cup quarter-final for 72 years.
Wonderful. That would be terrific for them, but this next 12 and a half minutes will feel like a very, very long time. It really will. But they've just got to keep going, keep believing.
Clearance by Herr Chowder for Sunderland, who then win a throw in the right back position away to the left-hand side. These are the moments that players can use to write themselves into the Port Vale history books. They'll be remembered for generations to come if they can hang on here, Port Vale. It has been decades since they last had an FA Cup tie like this. Alderete, shy of the halfway line, hammers it forward, crossfield towards Rigg. Header away by Gordon did well. Rigg gets to the loose ball. How's the delivery here from Chris Rigg? Left-footed, he actually plays it square to Lefay. Lefay from 30 yards. Great ball, Mayenda! And then off the post! Angulo was there. Gauci may have got a touch. Flag up anyway. And Port Vale escape. We'll get a word from Andy Townsend in a moment. First, drama at Ibrox. David Tanner.
It's still Rangers 0, Celtic 0, but Rangers had the ball in the back of the net. Substitute James Tavernier threw in a corner kick, and it was headed into the back of the net by Emmanuel Fernandez, but he used his hand in so doing. VAR spotted it, so it's still Rangers 0, Celtic 0.
VAR spotted it. Port Vale got away with it here, Andy.
Yeah, Enzo Lefay crossed it. He got a little nick in the middle of the around the penalty spot area to the far post. It looked like Angulo just had to prod it over the line. Gauci saved it anyway, but the flag did definitely go up for an offside call.
Free kick to Sunderland on the far side as we head towards the last 10 minutes here on Talksport. Time running out in the fifth round of the FA Cup for Sunderland, a competition that I'm sure many felt they could potentially even win, especially with the magic 40 points having been reached in the Premier League. Well, they are under real threat here as Port Vale make a change. Eli Campbell is going to come on for Liam Gordon. Eli Campbell, who is on loan from Everton, and Gordon has been excellent at left wing back.
He's worked hard, he really has. In the first half, I thought he was nice and solid. The second half, he's had a slightly different proposition in Chris Rigg, playing up against him with the left foot, stepping inside, but he's dealt with him very well.
Campbell takes the field. Port Vale with everybody in the white shirts back behind the ball. Standing over the free kick is 09 for Sunderland. Pumps it high on the diagonal towards Alderete. Connor Hall is there winning the initial header, and he's going to smash it up into the air from the left-hand touchline. The ball bounces down and is retrieved by Diarra. No great urgency from Habib Diarra. Sunderland might have to go all the way back to Elborg here. Good back heel by Rigg, in fact. He finds Diarra on halfway. Square ball intercepted by Ojo. And now they've got four forward in the attack. George Hall racing clear. Can he put the game beyond doubt?
Oh,
no!
Whoa.
He steers it wide. Great tackle back by Luke O'Nine. It's a corner to Port Vale.
Oh, what a chance that was. I actually thought that Funso Ojo committed a foul there. Anthony Taylor disagreed. Wave play on. It was like 4v2. Port Vale there, and they released the right man, George Hall. He's the substitute who's come on with all the energy, all the running power. What a challenge that is from Luke O'Nine to deny him.
What a moment it oh so nearly was for Port Vale. 1-0 to the good. Granit Xhaka ready to come on. Port Vale corner from the near side, the left. On this near side touchline, George Hall has placed it down. They've flooded the six-yard box with white shirts. Sunderland with everybody back. Here it comes into the side netting. After all that from George Hall.
He still hasn't recovered from that run, I think, George Hall there. He's clipped the corner straight into the side netting at the near post. Sunderland now making a change. I'm surprised it's as late as this. To bring Granit Xhaka on now Seems a strange one. I'd have got it just after half time, but bringing him on now we're in the 83rd minute.
Yep. Granit Xhaka for Chris Rigg. Maybe the last realistic throw of the dice for Regis Lebris. It's an inexperienced bench otherwise. Port Vale are 1-0 up. Here is head shrouder for the Premier League team. Back to the halfway line and Ballard. Port Vale at the foot of the League One table. 10 points off safety. But Sunderland are on the attack. Diarra, right wing position. They're queuing up in the middle in blue. Diarra goes on the outside and crosses, and he's got that all wrong. It's ballooned out to play for a goal kick, and our Sunderland starting to run out of ideas, maybe.
Well, Diarra there got the ball in that wide area. He's taking on Eli Campbell, who's got plenty of energy, having just come on as a sub, and he's just hit that cross deep beyond everybody at the far post, and the linesman signalled that it had actually gone out for a goal kick anyway. So that gives Port Vale a chance now to hit the halfway line, get close to it, and for Joe Gauci to knock it as high and as hard as he can up towards Andre Gray.
They beat Malden and Tiptree in round 1, did Port Vale. Bristol Rovers in round 2, Fleetwood in round 3, and Bristol City here in round 4. All home matches, and the last 3 by a goal to nil. That's the scoreline here for Port Vale against Sunderland. Walters to Ojo, who floats a high ball down the right, headed away by Alderete. Now Gabriel for Port Vale. We've got 6 minutes of normal time to go, and Gabriel wants more from the Port Vale fans on the far side of the field.
Yeah, he's played ever so well, Jordan Gabriel. He's a big, powerful lad, and he's been up for every challenge, every 50-50. He's been right in the thick of it. He's done it ever so well.
Flick into the penalty area by Gabriel is overhit. Through it goes to goalkeeper Elborg. The quarter-finals could well await for Port Vale. We know that Liverpool and Arsenal and Chelsea are already there. Southampton beat Fulham by a goal to nil earlier today on Talksport 2. Leeds against Norwich to come. West Ham against Brentford live on Talksport tomorrow night. This will be the biggest shock of the 5th round by a distance, though, if Port Vale can hang on.
Yeah, and it's a big if, because Sunderland, really, ever since the second half, have had the...
Alderete long over the top of Angulo and out of play.
Yeah, any straight ball at Alderete. He's done that quite a lot today, the centre-half for Sunderland. He's trying to find his striker from 40-odd yards away, and of course it's skipping straight through and out of play for a goal kick.
Well, Port Vale managed by an Aussie, the goal scorer today from New Zealand, from down under to Staffordshire. Port Vale 1, Sunderland 0. 4 minutes left, and the ball is back with Sunderland goalkeeper Elborg. It's FA Cup game day on Talksport with McDonald's. Order delivery on the McDonald's app from 11 a.m. 18 plus. Fees apply to delivery orders, subject to availability. Price may vary. 09 in the left-back position for Sunderland. Are they showing enough urgency at the moment, Andy?
Well, they're trying to keep it. Granit Xhaka on the ball here in between the centre-halves. But ultimately, you know, at some point, they can't just keep it forever there. They can't wait forever. They're going to serve it forward. And that Port Vale backline have got to be ready to try and deal with that.
A mere 4 minutes between Port Vale and glory here in the FA Cup. A glory day in this competition that they haven't seen the likes of for 70 plus years. Ballard plays it back to Xhaka. Head shrouder though for Sunderland. Edge of the penalty area. Back to Xhaka again. Attack for defence. Xhaka's pass goes astray. Hits the corner flag and a goal kick.
Oh, that's huge relief. They've pretty much got 6 players ahead of the ball now, Sunderland, whenever anyone's got it in the middle of midfield. Everybody is piling forward, looking to get into the box, but Granit Xhaka's pass there just didn't hit the target. Time for more changes, Joe.
Grant Ward coming on for Port Vale, the former Spurs youngster, and a standing ovation for Ben Waine, the potential match winner, the Newcastle fan.
I know, amazing. What a day for him if they can hang on. Clever little goal he got in the first half. Seems like a long time ago now that he gave Port Vale the lead. Worked ever so hard. Run his race very much.
2.5 minutes to go, plus added time to come here. You're listening to Talk Sport, on the cusp of a major story here in the Potteries. Port Vale 1, Sunderland 0 in the 5th round. On by head Chowder for Sunderland, header away by Connor Hall. It'll be volleyed clear by Campbell, the substitute, who slices the clearance up into the air. It takes one touch and bounces out of play. They're into the second half of extra time at Ibrox. Rangers 0, Celtic 0 in that Scottish Cup quarter-final. Forward by Xhaka, high on the diagonal, out to Angulo. 2 minutes remain of normal time. Luke O'Nien on halfway. Angulo chips the ball on the reverse, down the left-hand touchline. Across comes Walters. He has been brilliant. 20 years of age, shepherds it out of play. Goal kick, another Sunderland chance goes begging.
Oh, he's worked so hard, Reece Walters, he really has. Done very well there. It's awkward that sometimes when the ball's knocked over your head and you know you've got someone breathing down your back and you're trying to shepherd that ball out for a goal kick, you always run the risk of an opponent wrapping their foot round the ball and keeping it in play, but Reece Walters too strong there.
Well, we're hearing there will be 6 minutes of added time. Still got 90 seconds to go.
It's going to feel like 26.
It feels like the Wembley of the North at the moment. The noise being made by the Port Vale fans, loud and proud. Sunderland now getting desperate. Forward by Xhaka, into the path of Diarra. Wide right is head Chowder, deep inside the Port Vale half in a crossing position. Back to Xhaka. Xhaka delivers high, left-footed. It's looping. It's over the top of the bar. Let's go to the Championship. Team news at Loftus Road. Ian Abrahams.
Middlesbrough in second make 2 changes from their win at Birmingham last time out. Brown and Whittaker in for Conway and Malanda. 3 changes for Rangers. Hayden, Norring, Davison and Benge all come into the team. We kick off at 4:30.
Thanks, Ian. A standing ovation for the Port Vale players yet again. 30 seconds of normal time to go. They're into added time and extra time at Ibrox. Rangers 0, Celtic 0. Southampton beaten earlier today by Fulham. Fulham beaten by Southampton, rather, in the FA Cup. Fulham 0, Southampton 1. But this shock would be something else unless Sunderland can strike very late. Campbell clears out of play. Now here comes the fourth official with an electronic board. We think there'll be 6 added minutes at the end of the game. How many? The Port Vale fans wait askance. 6 it is. Well. They will feel like 600 minutes.
Yeah, they will. And it's enough time for Sunderland. If someone can find a bit of quality from somewhere, provide a chance that they can maybe take.
6 added minutes.
Brilliant
foul
play again.
on Gabriel. Free kick to Port Vale. Every decision now being cheered like a goal.
Yeah.
Port Vale fans out of their seats, waving their black and white scarves in celebration. It's not done yet.
No, it's not done yet. Again, Jordan Gabriel doing really well because Angulo on that left side for Sunderland second half. He's trying to then whip the ball into the box, and often nowadays you see too many defenders allowing crosses to come into the box. That kid, Jordan Gabriel, just showed you there how desperate he was to try and deny anything going into that box that might end up in the back of their own net. Brilliant play.
Header on by Andre Gray, and the free kick to Port Vale. About 35 yards out, right of centre. A minute through the 6 added, they lead Sunderland 1-0.
The big guys now, quite rightly, not stepping forward. Connor Hall, no. Just looking at John Brady, his coach. He's saying one of you can go. Go on, one of you go. If you want to do it, do it. But I don't think they should. I think they stay at home, and I don't think this ball needs to go in the box. Knock it towards the corner flag. Eat the time up. The last person you want to have the ball now is the Sunderland goalkeeper.
Are they heading for the corner flag? Gabriel's going to do just that, all the way on the far side of the field. We're into the second of 6 minutes added on. Port Vale 1, Sunderland 0. Live here on Talksport. Do not go anywhere. Port Vale have won it back. Andre Gray! Oh! Only just wide!
It was only just wide as well, wasn't it? Again, Jordan Gabriel tried to go at the corner flag with the ball. Sunderland pinched it off him, but he went and got it back. Rolled it to Andre Gray, took the shot.
4 minutes left. Ballard playing as a centre half. Connor Hall clears for Port Vale. The ball is midway inside Port Vale territory. Bounces down to Ballard. Head Trouder in the area now. Mayenda can't get to it. Clearance away. Out as far as Lefay. He's blasted it high and wide.
Just got tempted there, Enzo Lefay. He's about 26, 27 yards out. He tries to take the shot. They'd have been better off going wide and just putting it in the box.
This is extraordinary. They're dancing in the stands at Vale Park. They're turning back towards the press box and punching the air with glee. Goodness knows what the celebrations are going to sound and feel like here.
Well, they're inching ever so close to what is a historic day for them. It's been a tough old season for the Port Vale faithful, but how they're enjoying this one today.
Just 27 points they've picked up in League One this season. All of that into insignificance at the moment. 09 back to Elborg. We are halfway through. 6 added minutes at the end of the game on Talksport. Port Vale are a goal up. Sunderland out on the left-hand side with Angulo. And Sunderland are rapidly running out of time and belief here that they can work a way back into this. Ballard's playing as a centre forward, so to Alderete. He's got it on the halfway line, nudges it square to Lefay. Lefay blocked off by Grant Ward, and now they're on the counter again. Ojo for Port Vale, through the middle. George Hall, can he get the wrong side? Habib Diarra is there for Sunderland. Diarra is fouled by George Hall. 2 minutes of added time to go.
It's not a bad foul actually to give away there. Just for a moment it looked like George Hall was going to be sprinting through again, but everyone's pushed forward. I think Port Vale need to get more men back. Dan Ballard's now playing like a centre forward, and they're just going to knock it up to him. Here it comes.
09 drills it long, header on by Ballard into the area. Campbell gets across for Port Vale and will hack it away. 1 minute and 45 seconds to go. Gray wins it back from the League One side on the halfway line, and now they come forward again. Walters has held on to it. Walters is beyond the defender, and he's not been able to find Grant Hall. Elborg has to come out and clear. Out to play for a throw. Port Vale are nearly there. Fans are on their feet. Some have got their hands to their heads like they can't believe what they're seeing. They haven't seen anything like this at this ground since the early 1950s.
It really is terrific stuff, I tell you. It's wonderful to see how much these fans are enjoying it. There's not a fingernail left in the stadium, I don't think. Not now, but they are very, very, very close now. The clock has just gone past 95 minutes. We were told there were 6 being added.
We have a minute to go. Sunderland have got a goal kick. Port Vale 1, Sunderland 0. Here on Talksport, we've seen almighty shocks in this competition this season. This one's going to be another, unless Sunderland can strike oh so late. Long from Luke 09, thunderous ball, header back by Ballard, intercepted by Ojo. Ballard beaten in the tackle by Connor Hall. Attack the defence, right at the end of the game here. 25 seconds to go, in by Diarra, away by Ojo. Hook clear over his shoulder, 20 seconds remain. All eyes are on Anthony Taylor.
Luke 09 is going to throw this ball right to the corner of the 6-yard box. Sunderland have got everybody forward in there.
The crowd are on their feet. Here comes the throw from Luke 09. High towards Ballard. Header away by Campbell. The final whistle is blown. Most of the people in this ground were not even alive the last time Port Vale reached the quarter-finals of the FA Cup. A shock for the ages at the Wembley of the North. And Port Vale are now a game away from Wembley Stadium itself. Treasure this competition. Take hold of it. Look after it. Never underestimate the power, the passion, the pride of the FA Cup. Port Vale, bottom of League One, have beaten Premier League Sunderland by a goal to nil. They haven't seen scenes like this at Vale Park for generations. Valiant, every single one of them. And would you believe it, Ben Wade, the New Zealander who supports Newcastle, has scored the winner against the team from Wearside. Only the FA Cup can produce scenes and results like this. Hugs from the Port Vale staff, and players out on the field of play. Joy unconfined, joy uncontrolled in the stands. People have got their hands to their heads like they simply cannot believe it. Scarves are being waved. People are dancing in front of us here. The Sunderland fans trudge away miserable into the afternoon. A desperate day for them, but one of the great recent days in modern Port Vale history. Never, ever write off the FA Cup. Port Vale 1, Sunderland 0.
Let's hear it. And just looking at those fans and the emotions in there, that's what the FA Cup brings. This is embarrassing for Sunderland. We'll talk about them in a bit, but inexplicable from Port Vale. It just makes no sense at all. They're bottom of League One. They've won 2 of 16 home games in the league this season. They're terrible. They've been awful. And yet they've given their fans a moment, a memory in life that they'll never forget. And it's all because of this magical competition, the FA Cup. Port Vale into the quarterfinals. Sunderland go out. Fulham went out earlier to EFL opponents in Southampton. But Andy Townsend, what can you say about this? I mean, the stories around this game are phenomenal. Just going through all that a moment ago about Port Vale being bottom, losing at home. Sunderland actually picked a fairly decent side you'd think would win the game, and it ends up being a Newcastle fan from the other side of the world who wins it for Port Vale. You just couldn't make this stuff up, only in the FA Cup, Andy.
Brilliant, Aid. It's been a real afternoon to savour, it has. And I'm just enjoying this rendition of The Wonder of You. I haven't heard that for a while, Aid. I might have to just join in. Do you mind for a split second?
Well, I don't mind. I think others might.
The Wonder of You. Right, no. But I tell you, what a brilliant, brilliant afternoon. They gave absolutely everything, these Port Vale boys. They really did. You're right. There's no sense to it. There isn't any rhyme or reason as to why they can somehow turn up today, which they haven't been able to do pretty much all season. But turn up they did. They stuck together, started well, got a goal, had a moment, took it, got in front, and then it was heart and guts and all of those wonderful attributes that sometimes we overlook in modern day football. But without them, you haven't got a team. And they were absolutely, to a man, wonderful today. They really, really gave it everything. Sunderland, we'll come on to them in a moment, but this is all about the home team. This is about the fans that are all here, Aid, standing on their seats, hands aloft, singing away and applauding their team off. They are loving what they've witnessed.
And Ben Waine, the goal scorer, a New Zealander, he's going to play for the All Whites of the World Cup, we believe, and he's got the only goal of the game. He is the hero with his name next to that goal, and that's a massive moment in his career, an unforgettable moment in his career that takes him to legendary status at a historic football club. I mean, all these things have happened in the last couple of hours. It's really crazy to think about it. But that goal came about, Andy, because of that hard work, the pressing from Port Vale that forced a terrible back pass that had to be headed over by the keeper, then forced a corner, and he pokes it home. So it was all down to Port Vale.
Yeah, no, it was. They kept it alive, didn't they? Yeah, they just kept putting it in the box. They had a couple of corners, and it was right on the back of that incredible moment when Elbald, the Sunderland goalkeeper, headed one from under his own bar over the top. But they had a couple of corners, and then Ben Waine popped that one in the back of the net, drifted it over the goalkeeper into the corner. And what price, we get Wayne's World tomorrow morning on the back of the papers. Come on, we must have that.
Well, you preempted it, mate. You've written it already. I love it. And actually, I'm just looking at some of the fans and the emotions of those fans. And these are fans that have seen their team lose at home all season pretty much. They're pretty sure their team's going down to the 4th tier of English football, barring a miracle escape. And yet, they've got head in hands, there's tears, they can't believe what they're seeing. Their hearts are full of football joy. Their hearts, Andy, are full of FA Cup joy.
Yeah, no, it's true. And they came into this one today, despite their position, they came into this on the back of just a little bit of form, and unbeaten in 4, that's now 5. They're into the quarter-final of the FA Cup. Who knows who they're going to get? I tell you, the groundsman doesn't want to touch this pitch, Aid. Don't let him out there with a lawnmower and a fork, because if they can get a home tie, they're going to struggle, whoever comes here, to get that ball down and play, because they're going to find themselves up against a very spirited Port Vale team. I'm sure a lot of the Port Vale fans would love an away day at somewhere very big in the Premier League. But I tell you, there wouldn't be too many that would fancy coming and playing here. Not now.